जब तक अमोद join करते हैं, till the time he joins, if you remember last year January I did my only webinar and it was like totally free of cost, monetary wise. In that I discussed for 2 hours about my style of doing 920 straddle. And this is one of the most famous strategy on Twitter, most bashed strategy on Twitter. People have trolled it like anything. And so much so that I was talking to the other day. I was talking to Rishi Ajmera, who is a very great guy in software automation and strategy automation, and he said for all kinds of variations of 920 straddle, he has a standard template, and anybody can go and take it from him. And so I said, why have you made a standard template for 920 straddle? And he said so many people are doing it, so it's much easier to have a ready-made automation than to figure it out for everyone. So timing, which instrument to do, when to exit, everything can be inputted in his user interface. It's a great setup. And someone was tweeting, I think by the tip, or someone was telling me that the strategy has become so popular that now brokers are planning to run a book on this. And so people who have not tried it, for them it's like always a mystery whether it is a profitable or not. That's the number one mystery. The second mystery is that they are doing such complex strategies, looking at temperature of moon and looking at depth of Pacific Ocean, and then doing some calculus on that, and then arriving at what to buy and what to sell. And this strategy simply doesn't have so many variables. I mean, just it's like do it and forget it. And so it's like so much of disbelief is there that such simple things should not work, right? Otherwise, are we like stupid doing complex stuff, right? All the big prop firms and everybody is stupid or what? So that's the second thing, that such a thing which is like so simple, should it work? Third thing which I often get asked a lot is whether in this strategy, it's the strategy itself is so crowded. What kind of tail risk we are running? Like if it's a major saying in the market that like if everybody is on one side of the trade, okay, then the other side becomes very attractive, and the one side on which everybody is, that is bound to fail. So all these aspects and Amod's personal touch also we'll discuss with him. So very welcome to Amod. I hope you are able to listen to us, and if you speak, then we'll know whether you are audible or not.
Hey Anand, good evening. Hope I'm
Yeah.
audible.
Yeah. So as Soham suggested, we'll start the discussion about the strategy at exactly at 9:20 to give so much of respect for timing. In the next 15 minutes, we'll try to run through Amod. Is it Amod or Amod?
It's Amod.
Amod. So we'll run
Yeah.
through your profile and we'll find out more about you. So first of all, I mean, what intrigues me is that why you this handle name Golden Dustbin.
So there's no real reason actually, but I'm a football fan and I'm a Ronaldinho fan. And back in 2006, when Ronaldinho was on a decline, someone told that he's no longer a good player and he's now just a golden dustbin. And that golden dustbin name just stuck in my mind. I like it and I use it everywhere, out here on Twitter as well as I used to play this fantasy leagues with cricket and football there as well. So it just stuck with me from there.
Fantasy League is like Dream 11.
Yeah, kind of Dream 11. Yes.
So did you win or did
Back in 2000. Yeah, I had one back in 2011-12. IPL had I mean IPL. Yeah, IPL had conducted the official fantasy league. So I had won a kind of consolation prize there.
so how
And
much money
also
you
in
won?
2000, no, there was no money for consolation prize. It was just a prize. It's like the top 10 had something on the offer, but 10 to 100 they did not have anything.
Okay, okay. And this profile picture that we have, like it's such a smashing hunk kind of a picture. Is it like your real picture?
Yeah, I mean that was taken back in January 2018. It's maybe not exactly that much, but I think I did post a pic of August 2021. That kind of is similar, but yeah, it's almost the same, but not as much bulky. I've toned down a little.
So how much protein you take in a day?
I don't really count. I'm a vegetarian. I don't even eat eggs, so I take one scoop of whey protein after workout, and then try to just include protein as much as possible in all the meals. I don't really keep a count.
And what is your workout
It,
schedule and for how many years you have done it?
so the first I went to gym was back in 2009, but I haven't been regular till 2017, and I became regular from 2017 onwards.
So this
Yeah,
this looks
I,
pretty like unreal for delts and for biceps. Like you did some special workout.
not really. So I don't lift heavy. So I do more isolation with lesser weights and more repetition. So if you want the tone, then you got to do more repetition. It might be just bro science, but that's what I hear and that's what I feel as well. If you want real mass, you got to lift heavy. So
Yeah,
what I
I
do
mean,
is isolation. Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to get the delts and the biceps, you got to do the shape wise. You got to do the isolation more repetitions.
so like when you say you're talking about hypertrophy and you when you're saying more repetition, you're talking about like 10 to 12 repetitions or like 20-25 repetitions.
No. 2025. I think it's too much. What I do is 12 repetitions, 3 sets with slightly lesser weight. If I'm doing lesser weight.
Okay, okay. And like when you were bulking, being a vegetarian, so any other measure you took?
So yeah, I used to ensure that there would be protein in almost everything that I ate. I used to eat peanut butter with uh, uh, wheat bread, and I used to take smoothie all with all the dry fruits and oats and one scoop whey protein, and eat a lot of paneer and paneer. But paneer is not complete isolated protein, right? You also get carbs and fat along with that, and that's saturated fat, not even unsaturated fat. So yeah, so you also get some tummy, and in that pic, what you don't see is the tummy. It's not as chiseled as my delts or anything.
Yeah, and like such delts are pretty rare. And this, you're not doing any compound movements like deadlift or squat or anything.
So I do. So I do.
Yeah.
So I have a separate day dedicated for compounds: deadlift, squats, bench press, overhead shoulder press, and a little bit of pull-ups and push-ups.
Wow, man, wow. So how many pull-ups you can do? Free body pull-ups.
Free body, I do eight into three. I can't do more.
Wow,
I haven't tried max, but yeah, I do 8 into 3.
wow, that's amazing. And so tell us more about your background. You are from NIT and you are working with Intel right now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm currently working with Intel, and my work with Intel kind of coincides with my stock market journey beginning. I did my MTech in NIT from 2015 to 17, and before that I was working at Robert Bosch after my BTech, and I didn't really like the kind of work and also the pay I was getting. I just one point I just decided I'll quit the job and quit the job, prepared for GATE. In 3 months, I got some fairly good enough rank to get a seat in NITK general category. Yeah,
So you did your BTech and MTech in what? Electrical engineering and chip designing and all?
yeah. BTech was in electronics and communication, and MTech was a specialization of the same, and it was VLSI design, which is pretty much into chip design.
Okay, okay. So for how many years you're working with Intel now? 4 years?
Yeah, it's been 5 years, 1 year as an intern, and 4 years as a full term employee.
Okay. And so, like, how did you? Most of the tech guys, like, they are not too much into trading. Maybe they are into a little bit of investing, but not much into trading. So, how did this idea come that there is a place called stock market and it will make you rich overnight and stuff like that?
Yeah, so right from my early days, I always wanted to be rich. I didn't have any number in mind, but I just wanted to be rich simply because I've seen people struggle for money, and I wanted to get to a situation where I don't think about money for anything, and also maybe help few people be the same. So, but yeah, when I was in my BTech, I mean after completing BTech, and when I was in my first company, I didn't even have money to invest. So once I joined Intel as a full-time employee on a fairly good enough uh, pay scale, I just searched in Google one day, how do rich people get rich, and that led me to like couple of things. One was Rich Dad Poor Dad book suggestion to be read, and the second thing was what I read is the rich. invest and compound their money in assets. And one of the assets was equities, and that's how I got introduced to stock market.
So
Yeah,
like everybody starts first with cash market, Warren Buffett, and
yeah.
Graham, and so you started that way, or you straight away came into FNO?
No, no, not at all. So it's a pretty long journey. So I mean, I had no idea what stock market was. I didn't know that something like a mutual fund existed. There was something called technical analysis, fundamental analysis, blah blah, nothing, right? So when I started, the first thing I came across was that mutual fund is a safe way to invest in, get exposure in equities. So, and I didn't know much about mutual fund equity, nothing, right? So what I did was, okay, while I study, let me just invest in random mutual funds and get some exposure to like get a feel of how the market functions. So what I did was I just invested in 4 large cap mutual fund, 4 small caps, 4 mid caps, and also 4 ELSS for tax saving purpose. And this was September 2017. And September 2017, I think we were in a pretty good bull market back then, and small caps were rallying like crazy, right? And yeah, so at that point in time, there was also this infrastructure team that was working very well, and I invested in even I mean, I don't want to call it investing, I just put my money there and things like that. And Feb 2018, around budget time, I think it was Arun Jaitley, right? So back then, this LTCG tax thing was announced, and also at that time the China US trade war was happening, and then market corrected. So until then, I had read that markets are volatile, all those things. I knew it would not be an easy ride, but this was my first brush with the kind of volatility that happened. There was a sell-off in Feb, and I all my mutual funds, which were pretty green until then, they all went to red, and I just couldn't see red, and I just chickened out, exited all the mutual funds, and yeah. So that's how it started. It started with mutual funds, and soon I was reading up parallelly about the stock market. I knew there is a lot to be learned, and I knew there are professional investors or traders out there who are making a living out of the market, and I knew if I wanted to be like that, I got to do like what they do. It, so I always focused on how do professionals work in this stock market, right? And soon I started to kind of take bets in stocks with like swing investing. I wouldn't call it trading, but yeah, just put your money in stocks and see what happens. Mindless things, right? And soon, so this was in, let's say, March 2018 time frame. And soon, I think in September 2018, this IL and FS thing happened, and NBFC correction happened, and again I got into decent loss in the stock in direct stocks investing, and I again chickened out. I didn't stay invested, but although I'm thankful for that because I held stocks like Yes Bank back then, and I'm happy I exited them. And then 2019 early, I started to. So during this time, I was reading a lot, and on Quora, Kirwakar and Rajendran used to post a lot of answers about rule-based trading, systematic trading, and all those things. And somehow that stuck into my mind, where I do things in a well-defined way. I didn't want to do things in a mindless way. So 2019 early, I started to work on rule-based trading, and so 2019 April timeframe, actually one of the projects that Apple had with Intel got cancelled, and so we didn't have any work for 3 months. So instead of wasting that time, I thought, okay, let me learn Python and start with algo trading and things like that. And so I learned Python during that time where I didn't have much office work. And at the same time, I wasn't still not adept at making money in the stock market. All this while I was lossy. Lossy in the sense not big loss. It was small. It was like death by thousand cuts. Small losses. So I used to trade a
Just
positional.
let me go back a little. So when you invested in small caps and the correction happened and the portfolio came into red, so like what kind of losses we are talking about? Just to give an idea to the audience, like in percentage and both in monetary terms.
Yeah, okay. So I used to, although I could have invested or used more, I was like, I had a 3 lakh account with Zara, and I used to back then, I think one lot future stocks intraday on a cover order used to take like 30,000 margin. That's all. So I used to take small bets with like very small losses, like 2%, 3% per trade kind of losses, and just used to dabble. That's it. Didn't have a proper strategy. So yeah, 3 lakh capital was what I used to trade with, and at the bottom of my trading journey, which was Jan 2020, I had lost almost like 3.5 lakh in total. But my account size
Right.
was still 3 lakh. That was because I used to pump in from salary because I knew it was for learning, right? Yeah,
So you were basically losing money, but you were losing very very small. And one good thing which I am able to notice is that whenever you had any loss which was beyond the comfort, you did not hope or you did not wait for it to go to break even. You just immediately cut it and ran away. The way you cut
yeah,
your Yes Bank during the ILFS crisis.
yeah. That's right. I'm in general a person who is risk averse, and I don't want to bet big on anything because I believe even in life, any shit can hit the roof anytime, and I don't want to bet everything on uh, on one go.
A lot
So
of
and
people might
also
be. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
and also, I mean, I just wanted to say, while I don't bet big on anything, I also had tough time with. I didn't have a tough time taking losses, but I had a tough time riding winners. So that was a blocking point in my initial journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anand,
So
you wanted to ask something?
yeah, I was asking like you're saying you're risk averse and then you're doing 920 straddle. So a lot of people might be laughing on their chair that a guy who's risk averse is doing 920 straddle. We'll come to that. So you started your basically system based trading after reading Kiruba Karan's blogs, right?
Yes, that is right.
And
It,
I
it
mean
kind of got ingrained in me.
he has written
Yeah.
100 and 1200 answers and some very basic answers he has written beautifully, and I really really admire that. Kirubakaran was influential in my journey as well when I started reading Quora. He's one of the very influential authors there. And so you once you
Yeah.
decided that you are going to do systematic trading, so like it happens with all of us that the first rule that we decide or first setup that we decide, it doesn't work, right? Or was it the case that you are very lucky?
Not exactly. I mean, I don't know. So I'll tell what happened. So for me, the signal has to be black and white, entry exit signal, right? And with most indicators, although they throw out a number, sometimes I still used to be in confusion. But one indicator that never confused me was super trend. It either give you a buy with a stop loss and gives you a sell with a stop loss. There is no confusion for me there. That's how it was. So I started with super trend, and what I did was I used to observe nifty charts and all. Right? So what I found is that when it trends, it gives you money, but obviously there would be times sideways market when it does not give you money. And I wanted to check whether it's profitable in the long run, that I just take all the super trend signals and trade it. And I back tested it. It was not really that profitable. I did it on zero streak. And later I decided to add a higher time frame filter. Only if super trend is in buy mode in the 1 day chart, only then take the buy entries in the 1 hour chart. If super trend is in buy mode in 1 day chart, then don't take the sell signals in the 1 hour chart. Basically, you are riding the trend in the smaller time frame in the direction of the bigger time frame. That was the idea, and this was fairly profitable. I used to trade the 1 hour time frame using super trend. I think 7-3 or something. Which, I mean, I no longer trade this, by the way.
By the way,
So that was fairly profitable.
yeah, talking about super trend in early time frame, so you must be getting like one trade in 6 7 days or maybe some 12 13
Yes,
trades total in a month, right?
yes.
And
Not even 12, 13 trades. It was like 30 odd trades in a year.
yeah, and it will have like decent drawdowns like 20 30%, right? Although it will
Absolutely,
be
absolutely,
profitable to a large extent 60 70% or maybe 100%, but you will get like 20 30% drawdown probably two times a year. Am I correct?
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So
So that's
how
what I realized.
Yeah. So how you
Yeah.
you are saying that you are very risk averse, and at the very first sign of red you run away. So how did you bear with indicator like super trend, and why did you choose super trend among other indicators? I'm sure you must have evaluated.
Yeah. So I mean, risk covers in the sense I don't like to risk everything on one bet. So that way I was risk averse. I think most people, I mean, at least many people who, at least some of my friends, right, who come to the stock market, they risk everything on a single day. And I mean, I know one of my friend who lost 1.3 lakh on a 2 lakh account by buying options when he had no clue what it is. So that way I was risk averse. I wasn't bold enough to make crazy bets, but I always like the idea of risking small, and that way I think I'm not risk averse. As long as there's a plan, I'm not risk averse. Yeah, so that was how it was.
And why, among many other indicators like trend following indicators, why did you decide on super trend, and why not RSI or commodity channel index, CCI, and stuff like that?
Yeah, so actually I didn't know much indicators in the first place, and I don't recall how exactly I started on super trend. Maybe I watched some YouTube videos or something, but yeah, if there is a trend following, uh, maybe I wanted a trend following indicator, and super trend had trend in its name, and that stuck with me, and I went with that. I think there wasn't any particular. I didn't research on all the indicators and then zero in on super trend. I just got started on super trend because the signals were black and white, and I liked no discrepancy, and yeah, that's how it got started.
And this was like January 2020.
No, no, no. This was February 2019.
Oh,
Yeah, this
February
was February.
2019.
Yeah,
So,
this
so
was February
when
2019.
when you look back February 2019, like as a newcomer who is just exploring different indicators, and what to do with smaller risk and many risk, small risk. So, like, how did you look at Twitter? Was it helpful, and what kind of help you? I mean, without taking any names, what kind of help you got from Twitter
Oh, by the
specifically,
way,
and anybody who is following us, how he should approach Twitter if he's right now at the same point where you were in January 2019.
yeah, January 2019, I was not on Twitter. I joined Twitter March 2020. I had no clue that such a good Twitter tweet existed. I wish I did, but yeah, so it was completely a lonely journey until March 2020, until I figured out there were fellow traders on Twitter from whom I could benefit actually. And for anyone who is on Twitter and trying to learn, I think there are a lot of handles out here who post interesting stuff. They may not share strategies, but they give ideas on how to approach things, and that should be good enough. But if you want strategies these days with stock market, you got n number of strategies, man. Strategies are not a shortcoming these days, at least on Twitter. So I would say people should focus. Whoever wants to learn should focus on you know constructively. I mean, he should have a constructive purpose and not a destructive purpose, right? So he shouldn't be like looking at handles who troll. Although you could look at those handles for fun, but if you want to learn, you got to look at using Twitter in a constructive way.
Yeah. So then after you were doing super trend, it was profitable as well. So what kind of profit you are making on your capital of 3 lakhs?
Yeah, so Supertrend was not exactly profitable. So I started this in Feb 2019, and it was a very tough time actually, because trend following system is such that you get big winners some month, and then lot of trades uh, put you into drawdown, and you got to wait for months for your equity curve high to come back and all those things. And in between, I was not good at riding winners, and with trend following, unless you ride winners, you're screwed. So Feb 2019 to Jan 2020, I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't follow the rules. I had a tough time, but I somehow stayed afloat because one, I wasn't risking big, even though I could have traded, like at that time I could have traded on a 3 lakh account more than three lots probably. But I used to trade only one lot, and two, I had salary income from which I used to pump into my account even if I lost some, because I knew this was for learn. I was in a learning phase and somehow would make it up. And January 2020, it was a big lossy month, drawdown month, and I was kind of not confident that I'll be a profitable trader ever. And then March 2020 happened, where this is a trend following strategy, and super trend had given a sell signal both in 1 day and 1 hour chart in Feb last week, I think, and I just rode the signal all the way and made like 35% on a capital of 3.5 lakh.
So you
So that
made
was a
35% in a month.
yeah, correct. March fall was such; it was an outlier month. It wouldn't happen anytime again, I guess.
It will
So
happen
yeah,
pretty soon. I mean, that is my view. But moving ahead, so 35% in a month, it should have compensated for all the hard work and all the suffering and all crying to bed because the trend following indicator, especially on early time frame, it gives you a lot of small drawdowns, 10, 15,
yeah,
20%. So,
yeah.
so you must be
Although
like, good.
yeah, although it was profitable, although I ended up profitable in that strategy, but that was not the type of strategy that I wanted to trade. Simply because I kind of realized that for the edge of a system to play out, you got to play a large number of trades, and for a large number of trades to play out in a positional system, it takes much longer than large number of trades to play out in an intraday system, for example, right? Generally, so what I wanted was a intraday system and not a positional system, although I was in profit with the positional system. So that's where my search led me to stock market.
Yeah, so basically, uh, one of my very close friend also was using Super Trend. You said 7-3 or 10-3?
7-3.
Yeah, and during March, it was not so easy to ride the trend. I mean,
Yeah,
just an honest
absolutely.
answer. Did you ride the trend from 25th February when it started, or 24th February? I think the indicator came to the lowest of the point, or like you chickened out after 4-5 days.
No, I chickened out after 4 or 5 days in fairly good profit, but the fall was such that even after I got out early, the fall was such that it fell furthermore, and I re-entered, and I still made bigger profit. The fall was
So what?
of such proportion.
So what if you from 25th of February 2020 to the entire Corona fall, if you would have been with 7-3 super trend, then what would have been the real profit in percentages?
I think the real profit would have been pretty much the same or even lesser, simply because I kind of exited almost at the bottom. I overrode the rule. I did not follow the rule, and I exited almost at the bottom. So the missed portion of the profit was compensated by the pullback that hits the stop loss. So I didn't follow the
Yeah.
rules. Yeah, I'm that way. I wasn't a good systematic trader, to be honest. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who is listening, I mean, if you're using Super Trend or if you're using Donchen or any trend following indicator, when the extreme favorable trend happens, then sticking out to the system, especially in positional, which that kind of trend happens very less frequently. And after 4-5 days, it looks so unexpected. For example, when Nifty was going up 10 green candles in a row, it looks very good on the chart that I would have bought here and I would have held it till here. It's not so easy to hold on even when every day you are going into money. It's not so easy to hold on. That's why holding on to the winners in a trend following strategy, especially positional strategies, it's very difficult, because in intraday strategy or in a shorter time frame strategies, probably we make more mistakes pretty quickly and we learn from them pretty quickly. But here, as he said, that you get 30 trades in a year, so learning is very slow, right, Amod?
Yeah, absolutely. The turnaround time to get back to equity curve high is pretty damn high, and that's not what I wanted to get out of the stock market. Although market is not obligated to give me money, I wanted to trade a system where I stand a chance. I at least stand a chance to making monthly or quarterly income, and that was not a positional trend following system on a hourly chart.
So how did you come to know about stock mark?
So I think sometime back in April 2020, one of the traders here, whom I follow on Twitter. His name is Akash Trader. He goes by the handle Akash Trader. So he had posted a video on YouTube on selling a bank nifty straddle with a combined stop loss of 5% or something. And it was an intraday, I mean, selling bank nifty straddle every day with 5% combined like stop loss.
Yeah,
As in post on Quora,
I think we
Kevin
lost.
Rajendran had Kilpakkar and Rajendran had posted an answer on a system where you sell a straddle Tuesday morning, positional straddle Tuesday morning, and let it expire Thursday with a stop loss of, let's say, 50% per leg or something like that. So I kind of,
That
my requirement was intraday strategy, and Akash had
that
shared a intraday straddle selling. Yeah,
that positional straddle of Kirubakaran that you're talking about, that video came much later. It came like in last 6 months, if I'm not wrong.
no, it did not. No,
The
no. I
Tuesday
think
Thursday wala.
not the video. No, no, not the video. He had posted an answer on Quora
Acha, answer on
back
Quora.
in,
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yes, yes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that was in
Tuesday
May
morning you
2020.
started. Yeah, Tuesday morning you started, and Thursday evening till you take it, right?
Yeah, correct, correct. So Kilpakkar Rajendran had shared like positional per leg stop loss strategy, and Akash had shared on YouTube the intraday combined stop loss strategy. And what I wanted was intraday, but I didn't want combined stop loss because it doesn't do good on a trending day. I was a fan of trend following because of my experience with the positional thing. I always liked that, but the time frame was not right. So what I did was I came to know about stock mark from one of the videos of Akash himself, and also Kilbakaran had posted that answer. So I just backtested on stock mark intraday straddle with parallel stop loss, and it had fairly good results, and I couldn't kind of believe that it could be that way. Yeah, that's how I got into stock mark. But then, even though the
Okay.
results were good, it wasn't a easy ride. Yeah,
So we are talking about April, May 2020, and stock market was not very popular, and
yeah,
definitely 920 straddle was not at all popular. It was one
yeah.
of the many strategies flying around with no track record, with no people saying this way or that way about the strategy. So, like, how did you land at 920 then?
So I did not really 920 in the sense. So okay, whenever I say 920 straddle in this call, it's not exactly like I enter at 920. I enter at a little later time because I believe market takes some time to settle, to factor in the overnight news and all those things. So yeah, so yeah, as I told, Akash had given that idea of intraday straddle, do the same thing every day and it works. And Kilbakaran had shared like per stop loss thing, and I just combined both of them to my requirement and backtested the intraday straddle with per leg stop loss. Yeah,
So when you are
I
doing intraday straddle with the per leg stop loss, okay. And so at that point of time, like in a back test looks like really sexy, and like it's
yeah,
like so unbelievable, even with one straddle of 25% or 20% or 50%, whatever you can pick, right? And
yeah,
it's such a robust in back test. It's such a robust strategy that you start
yes,
at 920, 925, or even 1150, and you exit anytime after 230. It seems to work. It has a positive payoff, right? So, I
yeah,
mean, didn't you have a disbelief that like can it be so simple? and
yeah.
and then like what are the risk mitigating things you looked at, or you just blindly started it?
So yeah, it was it was tough to believe that there could be such simple things because my journey until then was all bumpy. But having read all of Kilbakaran's posts on Quora, it kind of had been ingrained in me that simple things work.
So you started and you thought it is so unbelievably easy, and you started like with 3 legs.
No, I decided to take a leap of faith this time. I exited my FDs and mutual funds, and because I felt the strategy is so good, I badly wanted a kickstart, and I took a leap of faith. And I started with 10 lakh. And 10 lakh risking like
Wow.
1% per straddle and two straddles per day. And that's how I started. But then there were a lot of experienced Twitter handles, experienced traders Twitter handles whom I looked up to, and even now I look up to, that said that this strategy is too simple to work. If everyone's on the one side of the trade, then they'll get butchered. So that's what I read from a lot of famous, experienced, twin tweet handles back then. So initial couple of months, I was in doubt whether this would really work out or not. But still, I decided to take the leap of faith. I decided to trust data and not people's opinion, because if anything, my market experience
But
until then had taught me that people's opinion is just an opinion. Market does not know people exist. Market does not know the strategy exists. The strategy does not take people's opinion as input, nor does the market's price action. So why should I care about it? So that's what I said to myself and kept kicking on.
But by the time stock market itself was getting a lot of trolling and backlash that, data, whether the platform and all that, but you had the leap of faith. So what was the first month and second month result, if you remember?
So the
Real life
first,
result.
yeah. So June, I started June end. June end was small loss, but July it gave me 6.3% profit. August was 9.4% profit. It just went on.
So you're
Yeah,
talking about like real life profit after brokerages and
yeah,
charges?
yeah. Brokerage charges and slippage.
So basically,
Okay, am I audible? Vikas, Vikas, am I audible? Mhm. Yes, yes, you're
so
audible now.
basically two straddles, both intraday and which is similar in terms of maybe not 20% or 25%, you're putting stop loss at 32%. We are not talking about your proprietary strategy as such. Whatever you can share, the biggest sharing right now today is that simple strategy, popular strategy might also work. It's worth looking at. That's the biggest confidence you're giving to us. And so you started making like 6%, 7% return in second month and third month. And so, did you feel? I mean, and given your track record that in March 2020 you were not able to adhere to your system, and before that you chickened out when you saw red in mutual funds and so on. So, did you try to tweak real life when the strategy is running in June and July, or you just let it run this time?
No, I just let it run because backtest gave me conviction. All this while, whatever I did in the stock market, it didn't have a thorough backtest result, which because of which I never had the conviction. But yeah, so this backtest report gave me the conviction to like just follow the rules blindly, and that's what I did. And I felt after all the junk strategies that I traded, this was my best bet at making it big for myself.
So,
So
like
I just decided to follow the rules.
during that time I was also following 920. So what happens is that there are few days where you get sharp m2m losses, and then there are days when you get sharp real life losses as well as compared to your capital. So did it happen in those days, and how did you handle it?
So the way I size position is that I risk equal rupees on all days, and that was for two reasons. Basically, one related to this strategy and one nothing related to this strategy. Related to this strategy is that you know Thursdays and Wednesdays had the highest expectancy in this strategy. So what I wanted to ensure is that I size position. I have a higher position size on Thursdays and Wednesdays compared to other days because the overall expectancy of the system would go up, and also return to max drawdown would be much better that way. So so okay. So now premiums are much higher on Fridays when compared to Thursdays, right? So now if I risk equal rupees on all days, let's say 1% per straddle on all days, Friday to Thursday, I would naturally end up with let's say 5 lots on Friday and like 12 lots on Thursday, which is kind of what I wanted to do. So my sizing of position was such that I risk 1% if both the legs hit the stop loss, right? So that's how
Actually, that's
I.
very important thing that you're telling us. Can you just repeat it entirely in a more easier way? Like you're risking 1% of the capital. So for 10 lakh rupees, you are risking 10,000 rupees every day, irrespective of what is the
Yes,
premium on that day.
yes, that is right.
And how
So
you
I
are
risk.
making sure?
So let's say the Nifty straddle is at 200 rupees, right? And 1%, sorry, if my stop loss is, let us say, 25%, right? Then the premium at risk is 50. 50 is 25% of 200. And Nifty lot size now is 50. And 15 to 50 is 2,500, right? So per lot, my risk is 2,500. And if I'm risking 1% of 10 lakh, which is 10,000, then I can trade 4 lots, accounting for 1% of my capital risk if both legs hit the stop loss. And this is excluding slippage. And at that time there was this order cancellation because of price out of execution range thing. I didn't account for all those things because that could anyways happen anytime. Yeah.
So basically, the way I understand is that on the day of the expiry or on Wednesday, you will go with higher lots, and on Friday you will go with lower lots
Yes, that
because of
is
the
right.
rule.
So yes, correct. That is right. So that kind of was possible until intraday leverage was removed. So back in I think when I started in June, I think even until like April 2021, I could do that. But from May 2021, I could no longer do that, because on Thursdays, if I had to risk 2% of my capital, then the amount of lots that I would have to trade, that wouldn't fit into the margin that was required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So during that time, basically, I mean, the when I did a variation of this strategy on stock mark long back, it was not giving favorable return on, like, not a great return on a Friday, and definitely it had a negative return on Monday, if I remember correctly.
I didn't see any. It did not have a great return on Friday, that is for sure. But even Mondays were pretty good, better than Fridays from what I had seen. I mean, I think it depends on the kind of system that we trade, the time, the stop loss, all those things matter. Yeah, that's what I had seen.
So, didn't you think, like, you should not be trading it on a Friday and stuff like that?
So I did think about that, but and I even did not trade Fridays in March 2021, but that was a very good month on Fridays, all those things. But right now, I finally decided to trade on Fridays because Fridays are profitable standalone, although the expectancy is much lesser than other days. And I trade for profit and not for expectancy, because what shows up in my bank account is money and not expectancy. So I decided to trade Fridays. Although the system level expectancy reduces, the overall profit increases by a certain amount.
Yeah, I mean, just to give a counter exam, a counterpoint that, when we are trading 5 days a week, and for any short option strategy, short gamma strategy, there is always a tail risk. If the broker site is down, or if exchange goes down and stuff like that, and it has happened in other market that it opens the next day only. So if I'm not trading on 1 or 2 days, let's say Friday or a Monday, if I'm not trading, so the risk of ruin I'm reducing by 2 by 5. Right. The untoward incident,
Mhm.
right? Some earthquake happens or somebody gets assassinated. If you're trading for next 10, 15 years, it'll happen someday, right? So if I'm
Yes,
not trading 2 days a week, then I am reducing that kind of event risk by 2 by 5. Isn't that correct?
yes, that is correct. No, I agree. I completely agree with that. Probably yes. The from that kind of risk point of view, the reward is not enticing enough to trade on Fridays. I agree with you.
Okay. We also have Nitish. I just wanted to shout out to Nitish. We are just praising your strategy like anything. And Amod, I mean, you missed a lot of points with Amod talked about that your strategy has changed so many lives. So if you are listening, Nitish, then you do 100. Okay, going on, Amod. So you discovered that, but on YouTube itself or on various platforms, there are so many variations of 920, right? Somebody does 3 straddles, somebody does 5 straddles, somebody does price based straddles. कि 100 point ऊपर जाएगा तो करूंगा. Somebody does time based straddle, and people also do, like, decide whether to do Nifty or Bank Nifty. So how did you land? You are doing Nifty. I think Amod got disconnected. We also have Logical Trader with us. I hope he's feeling better now. He is down with COVID, so all best wishes to him for his recovery. Amod, can you listen to us now? There is another problem, I think. So yeah, so Nitish, you are a speaker now till the time Amod comes. We have to keep the floor filled. Yeah, Amod is back. Amod, can you listen to
Yeah, yeah.
us?
Sorry, again it crashed. Yeah.
So like there's so many strategies like BIP Nifty, Bank Nifty, time based, like 9:20, 10 o'clock, 10, multiple straddles and multiple stop losses. So how did you zero in on your style or whatever you are doing right now? That is question number one. And is it like constant from June, July to till date, or you have made some tweaks?
I have made a lot of tweaks from the time I started this strategy till now, right? So the first thing I started, so the first thing that I did was do a sweep of all the stop loss percentages and do a sweep of the entry times. Like start from 10%, 15%, 20, 25, go on. and start from 920, 925, 930, sweep it and document it in an Excel sheet and just see what has the best expectancy. And I was after money and I just wanted to trade whatever had the highest expectancy. And what I saw is that 10% stop loss had the highest expectancy. And
10%.
yeah,
You said, did you say 10%?
yeah, I said 10. So
I have never met anyone who is doing 10%, but congratulations. Yeah.
no, 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 no,
So,
no.
so like
You
how,
can hold back.
how many,
You can hold back your
yeah,
congrats
yeah, go
because
on.
I hardly did it for 1 week.
Okay, okay, that's very funny. I mean, that's like exciting enough. So, like, what you're saying, you did like every minute analysis and you documented it in Excel and so on. So, how many credits you bought from for stock mark? Like, people who ask me for free credits and all that. So, why I'm asking you this is that any kind of serious backtest requires some serious effort. So, like, how many back of the envelope, how many points the credits you bought on stock mark?
So okay, right now I think I've spent around 25,000 on credits for stock mark, and it never mattered to me because I look at it as an investment. And when I look at stock mark and when I realize, June 2020, when I looked at stock mark, what I thought was this platform is unreal, because I know how difficult it is to develop a backtesting platform. You need good amount of coding skills to do things on the click of a button, right? So I always felt that it's okay to spend money when someone has worked hard to develop this platform and help me out. So yeah, I just went on, pumping in the credits to whatever extent it was needed for me to backtest.
So basically, all your Intel salary saving was, instead of going to stock market losses, you started buying stock market credits, right? And by the way, important disclaimer: honest to God, swear to God, it's not a sponsored spaces. Stock market is not paying us.
Yeah,
This is, I'm just
absolutely.
trying to tell you what all is possible. Whoever is listening in the audience, and I'm sure Nitish is not going to sleep tonight. He's going to be so happy. And so, stock market is very addictive as well, right? I used to do it for till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, even on my mobile. So, like, you are doing it all the time, the same strategy, or you explored other strategies as well?
No, I stuck to only one strategy because it was, so I traded. I mean, I backtested for around 1 month the same strategy, and why it took 1 month for me was because stock market backtest is on one lot, whereas my position sizing is on equal rupee risk, which means different amount of lots on different days, right? So I downloaded the CSV, put it in an Excel, use some formulas to do my type of position sizing to figure out how well it worked. So it took me 1 month to figure out, I mean, to come up with the exact initial set of rules. And later, I didn't again go back downloading CSVs and all. I just downloaded for one lot because I had the confidence. I just went on with that.
And like you said that you started with, so sorry to like hold it for a second. Nitish, you wanted to say something? You raised your hand.
No, no, no. That's okay. That's okay. I was just saying that. Thank you so much. Yes, it's not a promotional thing by Anand at all. One good thing is, I wanted to say that I never had the chance to talk to Amod earlier. That's what I thought. Okay, and I now realize that on 1st January, what I did is I did one activity wherein called up like some of the guys who use Stockmark to wish them Happy New Year. And I just now realized that Amod was one of them. So I thought this is the first time I would be talking to him. And yeah,
But I
Yeah,
am the guy who has spent the max on stock market, right? That is
yes,
like undisputed, right?
yeah,
So
many times.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean, I used to spend like $1,000. It was like my Netflix at that point of time, and I discovered many things, like many insights as well, which I might not be using. Small things like whether to do Bank Nifty or Nifty, whether, as I said, whether to do it in gap up, gap down, stuff like that. So, Amod, coming back to you, uh,
yeah,
you said
yeah,
10% stop loss. It
yeah,
continued only for a week. Why?
yeah. That is right. That was because the stop loss was getting hit left, right, and center. And one of the things that I realized that, no, obviously I knew that tighter the stop loss, lower will be the win rate, all those things. I mean, from my 3 years experience, if I did not know even that much, it would be bad. But the thing that I realized is that on one of the days, it hit my stop loss in real trade, but in stock market it did not. And that's when I realized that there would be this outlier ticks that's not captured by any data for that matter. What we get even on Zero the Kite Connect WebSocket is a 1 second sample data, right? Now these outlier ticks can hit our stop loss, and in backtest it could be a profitable trade, while in real it could be a lossy trade. And now let's say I sold the call of the straddle at 100 rupees and put a stop loss at 110. Now chances of price reaching near 108 and hitting that outlier tick stop loss is much higher than, let's say I put a 50% stop loss and the stop loss was at 150. Now price has to move from 100 to 150 for that outlier tick stop loss to be triggered, right? I wanted to reduce the probability of that outlier tick that's not captured by data, that stop loss getting hit. And by moving the stop loss wider, I could ensure that it happens much lesser than what it would be if it's only at like 10%. So that's where that's why I moved away from 10% to much higher, which I do right now. And yeah, for those who look at it, if stock market backtest says, let's say 0.5 expectancy, probably the real world traded expectancy would not be that much, and that's because not every tick is captured by data. And I mean, nothing to blame stock market, that's how it is. Got to accept the reality, have a workaround, move on.
Yeah, here I also want to add a couple of points. During that time, if I remember Amo correctly, that there was a lot of rage about 1 minute data, tick data, and things not getting captured on even on charts and stuff like that. I never replied to that because these were the kind of weekend fights going on all the time. I just want
Yeah,
to add my 2 cents here. I'm like not an expert on it, but Nitin Kamath has also replied in one of the blogs and in tweet thread also that first of all, not all brokers get same tick level data. Ticks might be different from different brokers, and somebody getting all the ticks is first of all very expensive, and it's not like nobody will have that kind of liberty. So one outlier, two outlier in a month can happen, and it's not because of stock mark or stock marks data. My sense is that this is the way market behaves. And as you rightly said, one has to work around it and see in real time whether the strategy gives you a similar return, at least on the similar chart, P&L chart or not. That's my 2 cents. This controversy was like very hot at that point of time. I hope it has died now. Yeah, Ahmad, go on.
yeah, hopefully. So I mean, if I see an expectancy of 0.5 on stock market, then I don't expect 0.5 in reality, to be honest, right? I need to set the expectation right for myself so that I don't be disappointed. And I expect a expectancy of 0.3, which is actually very good enough to give me 50% per annum trading only this strategy, and that's what I've done. So so I started with 10% and then moved to much higher stop loss, which I do right now. And on the way, I kind of figured out that on expiry days I need even further wider stop loss, because on expiry days the premiums, because they're lower, and the so-called gamma effect. I don't understand any of the options Greek, by the way. I'm like not an intellectual on option Greeks. I figured out that I could move the stop loss much wider and have a higher probability of win rate without compromising much on the average reward to risk. So I widened my stop loss on expiry days, and that's what I was doing for almost 1 year, from June 2020 to June 2021, and even I think August 2021. That's what I was
If
doing.
if you can tell us, like, are you doing Nifty or you're doing Bank Nifty?
So I do both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. June 2020 to August 2021, I used to enter Bank Nifty at time A with stop loss, let's say X%, and I used to enter Nifty at time B with stop loss X%. And I decided to trade both Nifty and Bank Nifty because I saw it as a kind of diversification. And I mean, Bank Nifty is part of Nifty, right? Bank Nifty might fall big in a 5-minute candle, whereas Nifty may not fall as big. Bank Nifty might trigger your stop loss and move back up, whereas Nifty didn't hit your stop loss and moved back up. That was kind of diversification for me. So diversification in two aspects: one, the instrument was different, and two, the entry times were different. Yeah, so I used to trade both Nifty as well as Bank Nifty for 1 year, and even now I do. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of nuance. Bank Nifty premiums are, will give you for same buck, same risk taken on stock mark. Bank Nifty will give you much better return, probably for the similar strategy. So why did you diversify to Nifty?
So that's to reduce the max drawdown, right? So when Bank Nifty is lossy, chances are Nifty would make up for that and be profitable. So overall, I also want to reduce the max drawdown. And when I combined, so I just noted down the numbers. I knew this question might pop up, right? So only Bank Nifty, if I traded, the expectancy would be 0.35 and return to max drawdown 7 point something, right? Now, when I combined Nifty and Bank Nifty, the expectancy increased from 0.35 to 0.47 and return to max drawdown increased from 7.08 to 9.55.
Hey,
So it was
come
a
again.
win-win
Sorry, sorry.
situation.
People might be taking notes as well. So just let's repeat that number again, please.
Okay, yeah. So compared to trading Bank Nifty alone, if I combined Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, what happened was expectancy increased from 0.35 to 0.47. That's like a 25% increase in expectancy. And the return to max drawdown increased from 7.08 to 9.55. Again, almost kind of 25% increase in the return to max drawdown, right?
Don't
So
you think
that
return to max drawdown of 9 is like pretty unrealistic? It's like pretty unreal for real world.
yeah, that is true. It is unreal, but for now, I mean, after having traded for kind of long enough, or even for few months, I kind of knew that I need to lower my expectation, because as I told, if stock market gave 0.5 expectancy, I would expect zero point 0.3 in the real world. So I knew, I mean, 9.55, the question is not about whether it's 9 or 7 here. The point is, what was 7 earlier became 9 now. It increased. Yeah.
Okay. So my second question is that when on a capital of 10 lakhs, when you diversify, you are like selling four straddles every day, right? So charges and the brokerage itself, it piles up a lot, right? Vis-a-vis if I do one straddle a day for a platform like Zerodha. Are you getting my question?
Eh, sorry, your voice was breaking. Not sure if it was me. Can you please repeat?
Yeah. Am I audible now? Like good?
Yes, yes, you are
So
audible.
what I'm asking is right now you are selling four straddles every day at time A and B. So you are doing like technically four entries and four exits. Sorry,
Yes,
eight
that is
entries
right.
and eight exits, right? Eight
No, no,
entry
no, no,
of
no, no.
option.
No. It is one straddle Nifty and one straddle Bank Nifty. From June 2020 to August 2021, I did one Nifty, one Bank Nifty. But right now I have
Okay.
diversified further and I'm doing two Nifty and two Bank Nifty.
So if like let's talk about now when you're doing two Nifty, two Bank Nifty. So you are doing like uh, eight trades in, eight trades out, right?
Yes,
From
that is right.
brokerage perspective. And slippage
Yes,
also.
that is
So
right.
aren't you like piling up your charges a lot, brokerage a lot by having eight rather than having just two? Although the having just two trades, one single straddle which will have two trades, that will have larger drawdown and probably lower max drawdown to return. But aren't you like piling up a lot on charges on a capital like 10 lakhs?
So
What is the
charges
real life?
might increase. Yeah, so I don't think that way. I feel charges are operational cost, right? The cost of doing business. Now, if I think just because brokerage increases, I don't want to diversify and all those things, I believe that's like penny wise pound foolish thinking, right? So, I mean, I'm not sure if I answered it. The
No, no, I
advantages
get
are
it.
far more than, yeah, the advantages are far more than, some 20 rupees per order brokerage getting increased.
Okay, okay. My second question is like I'm asking these very basic level questions for the benefit of anyone who is
Sure.
struggling or who's planning to do it. Like Zerodha API is also like 2,000 per month, and then brokerage is like 20 rupees per order, right? So
Yes, yes.
didn't you feel like at some point of time to moving to a brokerage, let's say, for example, and these are just random names I'm saying. It's not that I prefer one to other. I am most of my trades are similar trades are on Zerodha, so I'm nothing against Zerodha. I'm just asking you. that you didn't feel like going to, let's say, a broker like Kotak or Ellis Brew, which is giving free API, and which is giving like Kotak is giving like free intraday, no brokerage.
Uh, no, not really. I didn't think that way. Reason being, I'm a what to say. I'm a big fan of Zerodha. That's one part, but I'm a sticky guy. When I like something, I don't change something unless it is broken. I don't fix a problem that is not broken. So I mean, Zerodha was working well, right? I didn't have any problem. 2,000 rupees is peanuts as you scale up, to be honest. So and I was happy with whatever reliability that Zerodha API was providing for my kind of strategies that are traded. And also, I had my investments, stock investments that I pledged on Zerodha and trade that collateral. So I didn't want to shift to another broker just for the sake of brokerage or API charges and all those things. The way I see, right, when I think long term, when I have a 9-digit capital account, 2,000 rupees per month is peanuts, to be honest. So I don't want to think that way basically.
Yeah, I mean that's very good that you said that, don't try to repair something which is already running smoothly.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
kind of results we're talking about from August 2020 to, let's say, December, January 2021?
August 2022, December. So yeah, so right now I think that's what 18, 19 months, and on capital I've made around 98% trading only this strategy. So
And
that's
it's
the
all automated, so you don't need to do watch the MTM, or you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, that is right. It's fully automated. And one part I missed telling here is that as far as diversification goes, it's not just. I mean, I had talked up to like I diversify between Nifty and Bank Nifty early two entries, right? One entry on Nifty and one entry on Bank Nifty. But what I realized was that September 17, 20, and 21, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, 3 consecutive days, market reversed. And I think those 3 days we could see people on Indian FinTwit losing 30% of their capital, and they recovered it back. That's a different thing. So those 3 days were
Sorry, come
absolutely
again, come
crazy.
again. Which day you was talking about? I missed it.
September 17, 20, and 21, the index reversed both after a downtrend and after an uptrend. Those were crazy days, and I kind of hit around. Those were 3 consecutive stop loss days for me. So that was 6% loss in 3 days, right?
I mean, just to
And I
make it
didn't.
clear, this kind of a straddle 920, or it's a variation, it is a having a probability of profit of around 60%. So consecutive 3 day stop loss is like not very common, right? Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, it's not very common, and I knew it would happen at some point, right? There was always that chance. Yeah, and but this
Okay.
was the first time for me after having traded for like 17 months, and I didn't want that to repeat again. I didn't want 3 consecutive big loss days as I scale up my capital. So what I did was, usually all these reversals happen at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that, right? And there could be reversals after 1 o'clock also. That's a given. You can't handle absolutely everything, but you can look at improving to a certain extent. So what I did was, I decided to enter Bank Nifty at time A early in the morning, Nifty at time B early in the morning, and then again Bank Nifty at time C sometime later in the day, and Nifty at time D later in the day. What that meant was that if my if my, let's say, market moved up in the first half, right, and my calls hit the stop loss for the early couple of straddles, and later in the day market reversed, what that would mean is that now my second entry call is running in profit, and the put of the second entry hits the stop loss. Now if market completely reverses and it becomes a downtrending day from there on, I still end up at a small profit for the day. It won't be a 2% stop loss day. So I decided to diversify further with the early entry straddle and a late entry straddle, just to account
What?
for more scenarios.
So like now you are doing like 4 different timings to normalize the
Yes,
equity curve,
yes, correct. And I did
and
backtest that,
two
and
instruments.
yeah, and what I found is that I told that by trading Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, expectancy improved from 0.35 to 0.47. Now with the late entry as well, expectancy improved from 0.47 to 0.62. I mean, all these numbers, 0.62 and all, of course, you can't realize it practically. The point is that expectancy improved. It's not about 0.62 here. And similarly, return to max drawdown improved from 9.5 to like 13 point something.
13,
So, I mean,
return to
it was
max
a
drawdown
win-win situation
13.
for me. Yeah, correct. On paper, of course. It's not the realized one.
Okay, so coming back to this realized results, now you have done it for 18 months, and you being a methodical guy who is publishing every day, which is like a lot of pain in the neck, obviously. So, how much is the real life result varies vis-a-vis the backtest result in those 18 months? Which are the outliers, and like, is it largely in line?
So it's been largely in line if you account for expecting expectancy of 0.2 less than what stock market backtest does, which is kind of, I mean, I realized that's going to happen for the the data that exists. Not blaming stock market here. I need to make it clear. That's the reality. We got to accept it, right? So yeah,
So, in
I
the
don't actually I don't track month on month on stock mark backtest simply because stock mark backtest is a one lot backtest. I mean equal lot size, equal position size all days, whereas the way I size position is equal rupee risk all days. So I can't have a one to one comparison unless I put in some effort of downloading CSV and doing stuff, which I have stopped doing after I've got confidence in the strategy.
Yeah, if Nitish is listening, I think he went away to do some serious coding. If he's listening, then he should have like this percentage daily stop loss and variable lots on each number of days. That should be the next rollout. If he's listening, I'll tell him individually as well. So,
Yeah, I
but
didn't I didn't I didn't tell that because that's probably my edge.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. So, so coming back to this 98% result that you have got, I mean, if I remember, in one lot wala thing, it comes around 50-60% return per annum on an average, right? So the
Yeah,
additional
correct.
return you
That
have got is by leveraging more on Wednesday and Thursday.
yeah, that is right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
So now,
Absolutely.
now we'll talk about when the leverage went away.
Yeah.
So September 2021, October, November, December, we had those 4 months, and then we had this January. So what is the result of these 5 months after leverage went
So
away? Because now I believe you can't take full position the way you desire for 1% stop loss on Thursday.
yeah, that is right. So okay, September was a lossy month for me. As I told, I was still trading two straddles per day until September 17, 2021. Those reversal days were crazy reversals. So September was a 5% lossy day, lossy month for me. And so what followed after that, October, November, December, and Jan currently, it's a cumulative profit of 9.75%. And had I traded four straddles per day in September, my loss would have been around 1%, which means last 5 months it would have been like 8.75% profit. So profit has definitely gone down simply because I cannot completely size up on Thursdays and Wednesdays. But having said that, it's still profit.
So on an average, it has come down to 2-3% per month.
Yeah, that is right. It's come down to 2-3% per month, which is why I mean I kind of knew that this was going to happen, right? I knew the inside out of this strategy, and this leverage removal was announced maybe 1 year back itself. So I was always on a lookout for an option buying strategy which gives much higher return on capital employed, capital deployed, so that I could merge that with the straddle with slightly reduced position size to still have a like average 6% per month.
Okay. So, like talking about future and your option buying, any pointers that you have come across that you would freely share about to generate additional alpha?
Additional alpha in 920 this straddle thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
I think
something related to that, which can be like any person can go and test on stock market.
yeah. So compared to the plain vanilla 920 straddle, I think I'll just summarize whatever I have talked about. I think I have 4 points on how to improve the expectancy and return to max drawdown. First thing is diversify across Nifty and Bank Nifty with two separate entry times. So that's going to improve your expectancy and return to max drawdown. The second thing is diversify across you know, entering one set of straddles early in the day and second set of straddles sometime in the middle of the day, so that you account for reversal days. Reversal days should not hit your max stop loss. At least one of the straddles would be profitable, and you would be in mild profit or mild loss on such days. So that's the second thing. Diversify across time instants. And the third thing I would say is that try to go for equal rupee risk all days, simply because you would be trading lesser lots on Fridays than a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday. You can't do it risking 1% per straddle because of the margin rules. But if you are so much into having smooth equity curve, risk only 0.5% per day on all days. You would have a smoother equity curve, but then obviously your total absolute profit would be lesser than if you risk 1% per day. So that's the third thing that I would say to improve the overall equity curve. I would say expectancy and return max drawdown. And the fourth thing I would say is don't keep too tight stop loss, not because the win rate would be less and the stop loss would get triggered left, right, and center, but because chances by keeping a wider stop loss, chances of getting hit by that outlier tick that is not captured on the chart or the data, the probability of that happening goes down as you widen the stop loss. So I would say don't go with the tight stop loss like 10% and all. Go with the 20 plus thing. From experience, I would say. Yeah. Although 10% stop loss on paper gives the max expectancy and all, practically it won't. Based on experience, I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the
Uh,
4 pointers I would like to say.
if anybody is like listening and starting with 2 lakh capital and can't do multiple straddles and can do like only one straddle, so do you suggest doing Nifty or Bank Nifty?
I would suggest doing Bank Nifty if he wants to gain more profit, simply because Bank Nifty premiums as a percentage of Bank Nifty spot is higher than Nifty premium as a percentage of Nifty spot. So for one lot Bank Nifty, you get more, bang for the buck than one lot Nifty, right? But if you want a less volatile instrument, I think most of us would agree that Nifty is less volatile than Bank Nifty. I don't have the numbers and all, but yeah. So if you
I think we
whatever
lost him
I've
again.
told, my
We all,
opinion,
yeah,
backtest and do it.
yeah. And so anybody who's having just one lot, so should start with Bank Nifty. It'll have definitely higher drawdown, but ultimately he will get more money at the end of the year, right?
Yes, that is right. But Anand, I think I'm not able to hear you cleanly. Not sure if it's only me.
Okay, okay. So,
Yeah,
am I
I can
audible
hear you
now?
now. Yeah, yeah,
So
I can hear
basically,
you now.
yeah. So anybody who wants to trade this any variation of it should trade Bank Nifty. It'll have higher drawdown, but it'll have better end of year results, right?
Yes, correct. Absolute profit wise, it would be higher, but drawdown
Hello,
also would be.
am I audible,
Yeah, you
Vikas?
are audible.
Yeah. So,
Maybe someone can confirm. Is it at my end or is it at your end? Just want to
I
know.
think both we are contributing both to the this thing. I think your voice is also cracking, and I have from mobile data to I have gone to Wi-Fi data. So let's see if it improves. In the
Okay.
meantime, we also have a logical trader with us. He has the speaker mic with him. Logical, you want to give some pointers to new guys who are like struggling and 2 lakh, 3 lakh capital. They want to do something related to intraday straddle. If you are awake,
Hey Anand, yeah, I actually joined just to congratulate and thank Amod. Actually, he's one of the guy who has motivated me to come to option selling along with the others who are already thanked. And I think he covered pretty much everything related to stock market related strategies and how you can trade.
yeah. So Amod, am I audible now to you? Amod, you there? Amod, hello, Amod.
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah. So my next question is: a lot of people, backtest other strategies like Strangle and Iron Condor or Iron Fly. I'm sure you must have devoted some nights to those strategies as well. So, what is your general feedback vis-a-vis Straddle, like for a new guy who is having limited money to test on stock market as well? So, what are the pitfalls of Strangle or Iron Fly or Iron Condor when it comes to intraday? I think we lost Amok again. Okay, we have so many requests, so I am adding speakers now who can ask questions directly to our star speaker Amok today. The moment you have the mic, please ask your question because it can crash anytime. So you just want to ask it. I don't know whether I'll be able to add you again or not. So whether it is audible, not audible, just like a college GD, just start.
Hi guys.
Okay, you have the mic, you start.
Hi
Yeah,
guys.
good.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're audible three, four
Oh,
times.
okay. Great. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a heads up. I have sort of a free version of this backtester that lets you backtest this hashtag 920 straddle. It's on algotest.in. So if somebody has only enough capital for one lot, they don't want and they don't need to and they want to play around. This tool is built purely for an educational point of view. I'm not interested in making money off of it. Maybe at least just not yet. So if you guys are interested in playing around with this.
Hello. Yeah. There's some disturbance at his end. Uh, any other speaker want to ask any question to Amog?
Yeah, hi,
In the meantime,
Sriram.
Amog, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question to Ahmad around what kind of execution issues that he has faced, either with Zero the exchange or with his APIs going wrong and things like that. Just wanted to check what learnings are there on that.
Uh, well, there hasn't been any API issue for me as such, but obviously my code, whenever I make a code change, there would be some bugs and all those things, right? So API wise, it has kind of always functioned smooth for me. I don't have any instance where I wanted to fire an order and it did not get fired because of Zeroda's mistake, right? So I honestly don't have anything to say there simply because see, with this strategy, you just need proper working at one instant of time where you place both the entry order as well as the exit order. And so probability of you hitting a problem at Zeroda's end is much lesser when you are dependent on them only for like 10 seconds. So I didn't really face any such issues. Yeah. And for any coding related issues, what I do is when I know I've done some coding changes, I'll be alert on looking at my Telegram thing bot that I've created, where I get a notification if there is some exception.
Sure,
Acha,
thanks.
Amod, before you joined today, I was just discussing as a filler with the audience that so many people are doing 920 or the variation of this strategy, and even our friend Rishi Ajmera has made a user interface where this is a ready-made. Because I asked him why is it so. So he said so many people are demanding it. It's very easy, it's very prudent to make it once, and then everybody can use it. So, and yesterday only somebody was tweeting that a big brokerage house is running a book on 920 or a variation of it. So when everybody is on the same side of the trade, and so don't you think this strategy, either, as famously a lot of wise people say, that the strategy will stop working if everybody is using it, and the second is the taking trade on the other side, will it become profitable?
Honestly, I do not know whether it will work in the future or not. But the way I see is that we are just small fishes in the big ocean, and there are there are big boys who want to fill their stomach from the stock market, and they are the ones who move the market. So I feel market the structure in which the market moves can change. I'm not sure if it will change just because of this strategy, even though it's overcrowded. But I feel the big boys have better job to do rather than hitting people's stop loss.
Yeah, fair enough. And another thing which, when you got disconnected, I wanted to ask you was that, when you, did so much of backtest on stock market, did you backtest Strangles intraday or Iron Condor or Iron Fly intraday, or this is the first one you got and you started working for you?
So this is the first one I got, and I just started with it. But I did backtest Strangle and all. But the thing is, the premiums would be lower, and uh, the win rate doesn't really change much, and the expectancy doesn't really change much. But the premiums you get will be lower. So although when you compare Straddle and Strangle, the win rate and expectancy would be somewhat same, or in a Strangle, the expectancy could be higher than in a Straddle. But I'm trading for money. I'm not trading for expectancy. As I already told, money is what shows up in my bank account, not expectancy. So I look at total profit as well. And Straddle, because the premiums are high, it gives the highest profit. So I trade Straddle.
Okay, Hiren, you have any question? Hiren, Vamshi,
Yes, yes.
Ruchit,
Yeah,
Sriram?
Hiren here.
Yeah, go ahead, go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you. Hello, everyone. Actually, I'm a new trader, even though I'm trading since last 2 years. Step by step, as per SEBI rules, I'm increasing my capital. Now I'm using approximate 12 lakhs capital, but it's all placed money. I don't having cash money in my Zerodha. My question is, I'm not doing any 920 or 940. Seeing price action in the morning, I am just try to sell OTM calls at particular price, like 100 rupees call. Just wait few seconds or few minutes. After that, opposite side put, or I'm finding out which is 100 rupees. I'm doing just adjustment, which direction price going on. My question is, before asking question.
I think we lost him. Vamsi, you want to ask anything?
Yeah,
Sri
yeah, sir, yeah,
Krishna,
sir.
yeah, Vamsi, go
Hello.
ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Actually, talking about 920 straddle. So, can we go for the straddle based on the day percentage? Let's say 15 to 15% on the day, and another day was 20 and 30, 40. So like that. So, based upon the decay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amod,
you
very
can
good
go for
question,
that.
actually.
Yeah, you can go for that. Whatever the
Mhm.
backtest says, you just you just think whether it's logical, and if it fits well with your understanding of the market, and even if it hits few stop losses, you don't think like, oh no, I should not have changed this stop loss for different days. If it was only this percent, then I would have made money. You shouldn't go into that thinking mode. As long as you're okay with why you're going for different stop losses different days, and as long as it is backed up by backtest result, then I would say, yeah, you can go for it. Why not?
And
Okay.
how can we trade manually, because it can't be manually placed. It should be automated definitely.
No, not
Whether
really.
in future also it was manually not possible with the, let's say, 15% stop loss. Even though without placing a stop loss in that time, it will ruin our stop loss limit already. So by
Well,
placing
unless
manually.
well, to be honest, unless it's March 2020, I don't think that happens. Yes, it can happen. I'm not denying it cannot happen, right? It can happen, but yeah, manually you can trade it. I mean, I traded it for first 2 months manually until I automated it. So yeah, you can trade it manually, but obviously there is that risk of stop loss level already breaching before you place the order. You just got to accept it as a
Done,
slippage.
done. And lastly, one more question, sir. And you said you are using Algo for your current trades. Can we know what you are preferring? Any other third party platform, or else your separate trading, like another platform you are using?
So I'm using
Okay.
my own Python code, which I get tick data from Zerodha Kite Connect API WebSocket, and I place orders based on that. I have my Python code. I don't use any third-party software or platform other than Zerodha Kite Connect.
Done, done, sir. Thank you so much.
हाय सर, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था सर। जब डेटा मिसमैच जो स्टॉक मार्केट के साथ होता है, जब जैसे कि कभी स्पाइक में एसएल जाता है तो 100 टॉप होता है, बट एक्चुअली में जब हमारा एसएल 120 या 130 पे चला गया होता है, कभी कभी कैंडल पे वो दिखता भी नहीं है, तो उससे होता क्या है कि पीएनएल में बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस आ जाता है। समझ लो कि स्पाइक की वजह से एसएल गया तो 5000 का लॉस बुक होता है, बट स्टॉक मार्केट में दिखाता है 10,000 का प्रॉफिट है, तो ओवरऑल मंथली पीएनएल पे 15,000 का डिफरेंस आ जाता है। तो उसका मतलब कैसे करेंगे?
I actually don't know to speak Hindi, but I understood what you told. I will reply in English. Hope it's okay.
Yes,
Anand
it's
can
okay.
translate. So yeah, I mean, see, these things happen. You can't avoid it. That's what I have understood. You can't control the market. You can't control the ticks that get printed at the exchange level. And so if stock market expectancy is zero point 0.5, you only expect 0.3 to be the real expectancy, and the difference 0.2. What I've observed is that brokerage slippage and transaction charges, they contribute to reduction of 0.05, assuming like bank nifty slippage is 0.4 percentage and nifty slippage is bank nifty slippage is 0.5% and nifty slippage is 0.4%, which is what I've observed over a fairly large number of trades. So you just got to reduce the expectancy from the backtest and factor that in. Don't expect 0.5 expectancy if the backtest says 0.5 expectancy. Expect only 0.3 expectancy and account for these things happening. They're bound to happen. At least I haven't found a way to overcome that apart from moving my stop loss wide enough such that such things happening will reduce. Chances of such things happening will reduce, although it still happens. Can't avoid that.
All right. Thank you.
Hey Amod, one question. Like, are you using, are you hedging your straddles on Wednesday and Thursday to bring down the capital requirement?
No, I'm not doing that. Although I could have done that, but I'm not doing that simply because I don't want to change something that's working well. Even though I spoke about getting affected by intraday margin removal, right? Even after that, Thursdays have given me the highest profit in terms of total rupees. So I see no point in going for that when it's working well for me.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, can we hedge this 920 strategy? Like no, if I have lesser capital, then I'm taking the same straddle 920 straddle with hedge. I mean, with some hedge. So can we trade upon that?
yes, you can trade it, but if you want to be
Like
profitable, you have to backtest it and see that it has a statistical edge.
done. But risk will be the same even though hedging or the from the deployed capital.
I think Amod is not able to
Is there
speak,
a
so
next
I
question?
would just try to finish. Yeah,
Hi, Amod.
go on.
Amod, so how many times your
Hello.
face is drawdown? How much percentage? So could you explain
Hello.
about the drawdown on this strategy?
Hey, there was a lot of background noise. Can you
Amod,
repeat?
can you hear me now? Amod,
Yes,
Amod. Yeah, so I want to
yes,
inquire
I
about this
can hear you.
drawdown. Yeah, a drawdown phase. How many times you faced drawdown more than 3% or 4% on this strategy in the last 1.5 years?
Well, 3%, 4% happens, I think, every now and then. That's not a. So it again depends on how much you risk, right? Drawdown is dependent on how much you risk per straddle or per day. I risk 2% per day, a max of 2% per day. And with a max of 2% per day, I think I haven't checked how many times 4% drawdown and all happened because my max drawdown was 6.8% right on the first few months that I traded, and after that it hit 7.5% in September 2021. So 4% and all I don't track honestly. And if you are risking only 0.5% per day, then 4% drawdown is a big deal, and that does happen at least twice a year, I believe.
Okay, so one last question. So how do you keeping your positions like for 2 lakh one set of straddle or 3 lakhs one set of straddle? So we are doing this risk management positions. How much money you are allocating for a set of straddle?
So I don't allocate this many lakhs per this many lots type. What I do is I risk 1% per straddle or 0.5% per straddle, accounting for both legs hitting the stop loss, which is the worst possible case, without accounting for slippage. So that way, I think I already told, if the premium is, let's say, 200, both legs combined on Nifty, and if my stop loss is 25%, then the premium is 50 points, right? The stop loss is 50 points, and Nifty lot size is 50, so 50 to 50 is 2,500. And if your 1% risk on a straddle comes out to be 10,000 rupees on a 10 lakh capital, then you can trade 4 lots. So that's how I size my position.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Anish.
Yes, yes.
Hi. So my question is not to Amod, but my question is for Anand sir. So you told me that trading on all the days has a few tail risks. So something might happen 10 to 15 years down the line. It is bound to happen. But if your system, as per the backtest results, is profitable on all the days, Monday to Fridays, does it make sense to avoid trading on certain days just because of the fear of these tail risk events? Is that fair? Is it the right approach? So
I'll
this
give
was
you
my
I'll give
question.
you two. Yeah, it's a very good question, and this is like my superstition. So bear with me, guys. Let's say if there is a guy, okay, he is trading only on expiry date, only on Thursday, okay, and you are trading every day, 200 days a year, and that guy is trading only expiry day, okay, right? So his number of trading days, and both are intraday players. His number of trading days will be fairly less, like 50 trading days, right? Or maybe 52 trading days, right? In a year. Okay. Now, let's say on a random day, uh, God forbid, if Pakistan suddenly attacks India, okay, or on a random day, some political figure gets assassinated. So many political figures have been assassinated in India, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, right? So a big political figure gets assassinated. You think they will run BSE and NSE and they will let, no, this guy Straddle is running, so I have to wait for Straddle to get over. The entire country will be disrupted. We have seen 1993 Bombay bomb blast where the Bombay Stock Exchange building itself was bombed, right? We have seen tsunami in Japan, where 7.3 tsunami, the nuclear reactor itself washed away, and there was nuclear radiation all along, right? So there are in next 10 years there are bound to be events which will disrupt our life, not only the straddle. Okay, so a guy who is trading only 52 times a year, vis-a-vis a guy who is trading all days, all working days of a year, who is having more probability of getting stuck on that day? I believe the guy who's trading less will have lesser probability, right? That's my intuitive understanding. I'm very bad at probability, but that's what I understand. It might happen on a Wednesday, it might happen on a Tuesday, it might also happen on a Thursday, but the chances are less, right? As compared to
But
rest of the week.
but for an intraday trader, it doesn't really matter in any way because the max that can happen is you can
What if
either
your
both
straddle is
your stop.
what if your straddle is running at 12:30, they close the exchange? कि अब कल आना, yeah, come after
It
2 days.
yeah,
When
it
Musharraf
happened on
when
Feb
Musharraf
24.
when
Yeah,
Musharraf
it
took
happened on
over
Feb 24.
when Musharraf took over Pakistan mein power, the entire stock exchange was closed for 2.5 months. There was no short selling, there was no long covering, there was nothing, no shit. 2.5 months, the entire stock exchange was closed. Right. So I'm not saying it has happened in India or it can happen in India, but I'm saying by reducing your number of short gamma trades in your lifetime, you are reducing the tail risk. Am I making any sense? As I
Yeah, I
said,
think
I'm
I
there with
agree.
me.
Yeah, I think I
Yes,
agree with
Ahmad.
Anand. And just to give two examples of what has happened in my experience itself, right? So we had this freak trade issues, right, where we put a stop loss market order at, let's say, 100 rupees, and it got executed 900 odd rupees, right, sometime back in September or whatever. And you know what, that happened on a Friday, I think, if I remember right. And what I think this was discussed in the context of not trading on Friday, avoiding short gamma risk, and all those things. So these things can even happen, practically. That's what has happened, right? So that's the first example. And the second example is no exchange itself having a glitch or whatever. That happened on Feb 24, 2021. So it can hit the roof anywhere, anytime. That's what I think Anand was trying to say. And
Adding on
if
to it,
we trade,
if you're sorry, go on.
no, I didn't have anything more to say, I think.
Yeah, I mean, adding on, if you have a long gamma strategy, if you're buying option, at best it can go to zero. For a short gamma strategy where you have sold, let's say, 2 lot straddle on a 5 lakh capital, and then they close the exchange for 3 days, and the next day it opens like 20% or maybe 30% down. What will happen to your straddle? And are we going to say it will not happen in next 10 years? I am old enough to believe it might happen any day. It can happen on your day of trade as well, but it's a law of probability, right? If you're not trading 2 days a week, you are reducing your probability.
Yeah, correct. If the exchange itself shuts down for 30 days, then it would hit everybody, even the big players, institutions, to
In
everyone, right?
1991, I think October, November, December, they had broker strike. If you have seen that Harshad Mehta wala episode on Sony Live, I think the entire broker community in Bombay Stock Exchange, they went for a strike and the exchange itself was closed. One of the reasons why Harshad Mehta was cornered, because the market was not liquid enough and he couldn't cover his long at a decent loss. So he had to take a haircut of 40-50% on a borrowed money and things like that. So brokers strike. I mean, now SEBI is there. Earlier it was not there. So, but I'm saying unimaginable things can come up, right? It's our hard-earned money, and most of us who are serious about trading, we are having like most of our net worth into it. So, so there comes the risk perspective. And anyways, if a day is marginally profitable, like a Friday, so I believe, I mean, why not to have a chill?
No, I just wanted to add one thing to what Amod said, and I completely agree to what Amod said. Right, when you are back testing any strategy on stock mark, take the outcome or statistics that is showing with a pinch of salt. For example, like Amod said, right, 10% stop loss can give you the maximum expectancy on paper, but in real world it might not work the same way. So typically what I do, right, so for example, let's say uh, I'm testing a straddle with 25% stop loss. If it's giving me the highest expectancy, let's say with 26%, in real world when I'll take it live, I will add a stop loss of 28% because stockmark does have only OHLC data and it does not have the real tick data. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Guys, if you have any more questions, please send a mic request. I'll give you the mic. We will close down in another 10-15 minutes. Okay. We have Angad sir here. I am following him for a very long time. A very warm welcome to you, sir. You have anything to add to this, Angad ji?
Hello. Hi, Anand. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm following you for a very long time, and I'm a huge fan.
Thank you, bro.
So I just
Thank you.
wanted to
And
give my gratitude to you.
thank you. Thank you. And hi, Amod. I heard you a lot today. It was wonderful listening to you in a very small time span. You being very profitable in this time. I just wanted to add a little bit of my experience with what struggle you might be having while testing and while trading. As you said, you sold something at 100 and you keep a stop loss of 110, and you don't have the results on the in your trading account as a stop loss when little bit of spikes take your stop losses, and whenever you test it in any other forums or stock mark or any other data testing softwares, I suggest you one thing: whenever you get stopped out, take that trade again, because what you will be risking again is that 10% only. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are audible,
you're
sir.
audible.
That is what I wanted to add. I wish I could help you in that way. What I heard, what one guy also depicted, that if some data volatility takes your stops and you're out of the trade, so you still got a chance to take that trade and enter it back and keep your stop loss. Consider that trade as a slippage only, and but don't leave those trades.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, the new trade that we take that would add additional risk to what we had planned. That's something we got to accept.
No,
That's
no,
the
no.
only thing.
That is why I told you, take it as a slippage. Take it as a slippage. No, not don't consider it as a part of a trading loss, because say similarly, assuming it as to be expiry. Now, if you sold something at 100 and you keeping a stop loss of 110, if you just commit to one thing that you have to take two trades, 2% trade per day or 3%, whatever your logic says over there. But if you come out of the trade on expiry day, where your risk reward is 1:10, if you see that strike expires to zero, you get 100 points. But if your stop loss is getting triggered, you losing 10 points. But there is a kind of a spike that chops you out of the trade. But even if you still enter back, your risk reward is still 1:9.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, in that case, yes, it does make sense.
So try to not to leave your trades. Consider some kind of nonsense happens in the market. There's such kind of these volatility chops in, but don't leave these trades. That is what I wanted to add, and that is what I raised my hand to be speaker over here and just give my opinion over there.
Thank you so much, Amod. I had another related question to it. Like once the exchange changed the rule of order cancellation, and that SLM order and all. So, like, what kind of changes you have seen in terms of real life results?
What kind of change have I seen in terms of that?
After the exchange changed the rule for order, stop loss order cancellation. Earlier it used to go from 100 to 900 to 1200. Also, now that scenario is not possible, right? So, like, what kind of slippage you have seen post that, and what kind of changes you have seen in the PNL, in real life PNL?
So slippage wise, what I have seen is that it has increased. I do document my slippage data, and what I have is that August to September 2020, Nifty slippage was around 0.29%, whereas September to November 2021, it increased from 0.29 to 0.47%, at least for my stop loss orders. And Bank Nifty slippage increased from 0.39% to 0.56% on an average. I believe it's not got anything to do with that order cancellation thing removal, but it's got to do with intraday leverage removal and lesser liquidity.
Okay, fair enough. Ask one. Anybody has a question? Please do ask. I think there's some problem at Nikhil's end as well.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I mean, these kind of markets, I mean, markets have been changing. So, within first 20 minutes, even we know, when starting of the trade, the volatility is high. Although we are triggering our triggering our algo platform to place the trades, and even though within 20 or 15 minutes, it was hitting both the stop losses. The spikes are very huge in these days. So, even though, the SL based may work or not in future in the long run.
Yeah. Question to Amod and Logical, you can also answer. Both of them are running it through Algo, and I think January was pretty brutal, and September 2021 was also very brutal. November was also very brutal. So, what are your comments when even both the stop losses get hit? We see a lot of activity on Twitter ridiculing the strategy, ridiculing the dumb traders who are doing it. So, what is your comment on it?
Well, it's part of the game. Drawdowns are part of the game. Markets structures keep changing. I think most of us would agree with that. And this is a dumb system, right? We are doing the same thing every day, and market is not the same every day. So obviously, there will be times when the system is not in sync with the kind of market movement, and it would happen. Now, to the question whether in future this is going to keep continuing or whether the system will work out, I do not know. I think no one knows. It's as good as some research analyst giving a stock buy recommendation. We never know. Only time will tell. That's what I feel.
Yes,
Logical, you want to add something?
Yes, and one more thing, many people use it to do adjustment in, long back, not long back, previous year, let's say. But many of them came to SL based because the market is not giving any time. It was going away from the level within a span of minutes. So many adjustment based traders also came into stop loss. So can we differ them between? Any issues like?
Did you get the question, Amu?
I did not exactly get the question.
Can I repeat it again?
No, Vamsi, I'll tell you. Yeah, if you have done a back test, and if you agree, and if you have leap of faith on that back test, then probably stick to it. Market will behave in an erratic manner for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or maybe 4, 5 months. That is the way market behaves. But if it is a system-based strategy, you cannot do manual adjustment. You cannot try to tinker with the strategy midway. That's my humble point. I mean, unless either you are a discretionary trader or you are a systematic trader, and with respect to one strategy, and then once you have leap of faith and once you have back tested data, then probably you stick around with that at least for some time. And most important thing is not the return, but if the time drawdown and your percentage drawdown, the frequency and the number of percentage drawdown, if that is in line with the back test, then don't worry too much about the return initially, and then stick with the system in toto.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have Ronak Bhai with us.
Very good
He,
evening.
yeah, go ahead, V Trade. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Anand Bhai. Vikas this side. Just want to share my experience with the straddle strategy which I have made for myself. I am doing it for last say 6-7 months or so. I have back tested the same on the stock mock. Now on the two fronts, I just want to put my point across. First is the actual ROI which we receive while doing it practically, and the ROI which a strategy shows in the back tested data. Now this ROI basically depends on the number of trades also, how much you take, because the more the number of trades you take, the more will be the slippages. Like in my setup, I take 3 straddles daily and 2 on Thursday, except Thursday, other days 3 straddles. And it's a simple strategy of stop loss, and many days when one stop loss get hits, I shift other stop loss to coast. Now in last 6 months, I could able to generate 50% near to 50% return, and the November month, as you said, it was brutal. So I would also talk about the drawdown in that phase. I reached up to 8 to 9% drawdown, but I had not done any changes in my position sizing. I kept on taking the trades. In November month, first 15 days were loss days, not continuously in sequence. My 5 days were in loss, but then first 15 days my drawdown went till 9, and in the next 15 days I cover up the complete drawdown and ended that month with the coast to coast. There was a scenario in between once when we had a discussion at the house. At home, my wife started saying, "What are you doing? Now you stop taking trades, otherwise you will keep on going in losses." But that is against the system trading, rule of system trading, that if we have tested our strategy on all the days, we have to keep taking the trades as per our setup without disturbing the position sizing and the frequency of the trades. And this thing has given me a lot of build a lot of confidence in me. And I just want to tell that if people are doing the back testing, whatever ROI per month they are seeing in the back tested results, simply just deduct 3 to 3.5% from that on monthly basis, and that would be your actual return. That 3.5% around will count for the all kind of slippages. Like 75 points in bank nifty make 1% of your capital. So if in my back tested strategy, the slippages which I noticed on daily basis, not in any month it has gone beyond 75 points in total. And these slippages I count at the time of selling only, like at the time of coming out from the strategy, or when stop loss gets hit. So if you deduct 3 to 3.5%, then the balance would be your actual ROI per month. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Apart from brutal November, where you had 8-9% loss, and I believe January was also very bad, right? So what about the other months? Like, are you getting like 3-4%, 5% per month, or like what is your last 1 year result on doing 3 straddle, as you said?
I started from 1st July onwards, Anand Bhai, and 2-3 months were quite good. Even more than 10% return I have got in October. And this January month, I am 3.4% right now, plus 3.4%. But I had reached 7.35% at one point, and now I am in the drawdown of near to 3.9%. But I am hopeful of ending in green this month. So this strategy is going fine till now.
Yeah, inshallah.
Hello.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Ravi.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for approve the mic. I'm option buyer and I'm trading from 1.5 year. But प्रॉफिट इतना कुछ खास हो नहीं रहा था इतने दिन से, बट लास्ट एक महीने से मैंने कैंडलस्टिक पे ट्राई किया है। मतलब पहले मैं चार्ट ट्रेडिंग करता था चार्ट पैटर्न पे।
I think we lost him. So next, anybody wants to ask a question specific to what we spoke today? Harsh,
Yeah,
go
sir.
ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Sir, actually, my space is crashing again and again. Sir, I want to ask one question to Nikhil, sir. Actually, I'm not able to connect to him.
अरे निखिल सर का भी स्पेस क्रैश कर गया। निखिल सर आ जाओ, मैं आपको स्पीकर राइट्स दे रहा हूँ। यू हैव द माइक, इफ यू आर लिसनिंग टू अस कैन यू प्लीज एक्सेप्ट द माइक। so many people want to talk to you. Nikhil sir, yeah, go ahead with your question, he's listening.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, actually, in January month, I was in profit of more than 5%, but last 3 days took my overall profit. Even I'm in 0.3% loss right now. Sir, can you please explain me? Can you please tell me where should I trade or not? Actually, I'm only trading in nifty straddles.
Intraday?
Yeah, intraday.
And like one straddle?
Yeah, sir, one straddle. Sir,
and with a stop loss on each
actually, sir, my stop loss is based on the premium I'm receiving.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nikhil sir, you would like to answer that? He's a huge fan.
Nikhil sir, are you there?
Yeah, am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
100%.
Yeah. Bolo.
Yeah. Should I have to repeat my
He's
question?
asking, he's trading and he's having drawdown. He is doing strangle with combined stop loss, a few percentage of the combined premium received.
Okay.
No, actually, sir, that's not the
just
percentage.
Yeah.
What I'm doing right now, I divide all my premium by 2.5 or some days 1.5, and I add that to the ATM strikes where I have sold the straddle, and these two horizontal lines are my limit. If they are going to breach, I'm going to exit my whole straddle and do it again.
Got it. So basically, you are working in a range. What I believe, your stop loss is based on the spot level of Nifty. That's what I've understood. Or no? Hello?
हर्ष, क्या आपको हमारी आवाज आ रही है? I think we lost him. But you got the question, Nikhil, right? Would you like to give
I've
a summary?
actually not got the question, Anand. I'm yet to understand it, to give a proper answer.
Okay, so hold on for
make me explain.
Yeah, hold on for a minute. He will probably rejoin. In the meantime, Saurav Jana, you want to ask something?
Hello sir, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Sir, बस मैं मतलब सबसे एक ही क्वेश्चन है मेरा, जब मैं मतलब ड्रॉडाउन फेज पे कैसे हैंडल करें? मतलब अभी मैं ड्रॉडाउन फेज में हूं.
See, when you backtest something, okay, so you have to just keep that figure in your mind कि ये जाएगा तो मेरा साइकोलॉजिकल स्टेट क्या होगा, ठीक है? तुमको अपना पोजीशन साइज उसी हिसाब से रखना है. And trust me on one thing, whatever drawdown you see in the backtesting, definitely is going to surpass that in future. ठीक है, तो उसका 1.5x या 2x के आसपास तुम्हें अपने दिमाग में लेके चलना है. जैसे मेरा पर्सनल कंफर्ट लेवल है 20% का, मैं हमेशा तैयार रहता हूँ कि मैं कभी भी 20% रुक जाऊंगा, ठीक है? तो तब तक के मेरे को कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. उसके ऊपर क्या होता है ना, तब मेरे को फिर सोचना पड़ता है. सो द सेम हैज टू बी विद यू.
ओके, थैंक यू सर.
तुम्हें लेके चलना है कि मैं ड्रॉडाउन में आप रहोगे ही रहोगे. मैं खुद पिछले एक हफ्ते 10 दिन के आसपास ड्रॉडाउन होगा, 6-7% ड्रॉडाउन होगा मेरा, बट देन दैट इज इन माय कंफर्ट जोन. ओके, तो आई एम नॉट एट ऑल बॉदर्ड अबाउट इट. जब भी वो मेरा कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर कभी जाने की कोशिश कर, पहली बात तो इतनी आसानी से जाएगा नहीं. बहुत ही रेयर इंस्टेंस होंगे कभी वो.
I think we lost him again. Amod, same question to you. How do you handle like steeper drawdown, November, September? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
You are audible.
Yes, Anand bhai, you are audible.
रौनक भाई, ये क्वेश्चन आपसे अच्छा कोई आंसर नहीं कर सकता. ड्रॉडाउन को कैसे हैंडल करना है?
अरे सर, एक्चुअली मैंने तो ये 920 देखा इसलिए मैं जंप कर दिया. That's okay.
अरे बट ड्रॉडाउन तो हर ट्रेडर की आत्मा को सताता है. ड्रॉडाउन तो 10-20% का ड्रॉडाउन अगर देख लिया.
Actually, if anybody has visited my tweet that I tweeted on 17 December, I think that will give you the clear picture how I handle the drawdown. See, for me, drawdown is just a number. Let me tell you, I don't believe. As of now, also I'm in drawdown of almost 10%. See, I am tend to take a drawdown. I used to be in drawdown around 50-20%. Most of you can say that 3 to 4 times or maybe sometimes 5 times in a year. But that doesn't make sense until and unless you surpass your drawdown by double returns. Then that doesn't make any sense, right? You any trader, according to me, any trader will always be in drawdown in the 90% of their trading career. Nobody will remain top, right? That is the truth. 98% time everybody will be in drawdown only. It's not like that we are making money every day. That is the right of the game, right? So that's okay. But see, the important thing is that what are the risks you are taking on a trade. See, see if you're talking about me, I mostly, as and when, in a day I have certain limit that I cannot take more than 4%, uh, risk per day. So as and when that has been out, I'm taking, and I'm happy even if that 4% risk I'm taking constantly on a 5 days. I am okay with that, right? Because until and unless I follow my rules, I follow my setup. Because first thing is that I'm not a systematic trader. When it comes to like straddle and strangle, because I do the trade based on the levels, right? So yeah, it's not like that every day my level should work, right? Sometimes my level works, sometimes my level doesn't work. But that doesn't mean that we will never face the drawdown. Drawdown will be there, definitely.
Yeah. Logical bhai, if you're listening to us, like you ever had a 10% kind of a drawdown, and how do you handle it?
अरे उसका तो बहुत आया एक बार 20% राइट मुझे
तो
पता
मैं तो ऑप्शन बायर हूँ भाई, आता ही रहता है, मतलब कोई
But
बहुत
everybody on Twitter
लेकिन
says that option buyers don't
actually
make any money.
हाँ, बट एक्चुअली एक चीज है जो मैंने चेंज किया, वो यही है, आई थिंक मैंने ट्विटर पे कई बार पोस्ट भी किया है कि अब मैं क्या करता हूँ कि लेट्स से अगर मेरा कुछ रिस्क पर ट्रेड का कुछ है, तो अगर मेरा 10% ड्रॉडाउन ब्रीच होता है या 5% ड्रॉडाउन ब्रीच होता है, तो मैं कम रिस्क लेना शुरू कर देता हूँ। अब इसके पीछे दो आर्ग्यूमेंट हो सकते हैं। कई लोग बोलेंगे कि फिर आपको आपका रिकवरी में टाइम भी ज्यादा लगेगा और टाइम ड्रॉडाउन भी बड़ा होगा। वो ऑब्वियसली सही है, लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम मतलब मुझे विथ माय कैपिटल इंक्रीज, आई डोंट वांट टू सी एब्सोल्यूट नंबर गोइंग बिलो सर्टेन लेवल। सो this is something what I do is ki, let's say if I enter into a 10% drawdown, I'll reduce my risk per trade, and if I again enter into 0 to 10% territory, I'll again increase my risk per trade, and then if I enter into 0 to 5% drawdown category, I again change my risk per trade. So risk per trade changes as per my drawdown. People say whatever they say, but yeah, with increased capital, it gives me psychological comfort that I can trade another day.
Yeah,
That's how I do.
See,
now that
Anand bhai, for
one
this
second.
I have one strategy. I have one mechanism I am using. See, let me just tell you one thing. Any trader who is, let's say, any trader who is starting a trading, let's say 10 lakhs rupees. I'm just giving you one example. So at certain point of time, he must be following some strategy. Whether it's a discretionary or system, that's a different thing. But let's say if he is following any strategy, so there should be some position size for each and every strategy, right? So what I do in my initial phase of the career, and I'm still doing that thing, said I kept some target in mind. Well, I started with 10 lakhs, now I want to reach 15 lakhs. So between that 10 to 15 lakhs, I will never increase my position size. Once I will reach at 15 lakhs, I will increase the position size. That now until my drawdown will goes more than 15 to 20%, I will stick to that side. But let's say I have a 20% drawdown in mind. Now that 15 lakhs becomes 12 lakhs. I am in 20%. Then I have to reduce the position size. I cannot go with the same speed because another 20% will take me into the loss for a day, for a a financial way. So in that way I do you can say that part wise from 10 to 15. Then once I reach that target, now next target will be 15 to 25. So within that 10 lakhs profit, I need to keep the same position size. Once I reach the 25, then I will increase. So at certain point,
I think we lost him. Amod, you have raised your hand. Okay, please
Anand
go
bhai,
on, please. Amod.
Yeah. So I just wanted to. I mean, since this is about drawdown and position sizing, I just wanted to say how exactly I size position. So let's say my capital is 10 lakh, and let's say the max drawdown in this strategy historically has been, let's say, 10% for round number sake. So that's like 1 lakh drawdown on 10 lakh capital, right? So the way I size position is that I assume that drawdown will happen, and I assume my capital is only 9 lakh, even though my account size is 10 lakh, and I risk 1% on that 9 lakh and not on that 10 lakh. So if, let's say, three consecutive lossy days happens and I lose 2% capital, that's like 18,000 into 3 is what? Let's say around number 60,000. So I'm left with 9,40,000 capital, right? But I've assumed only 9 lakh to be my capital. So I need not reduce my position size. So we've heard that if we lose 10% to make even, we need to make 12%. That is if you use all your capital. Now, if you already accounted for drawdown and you risk the capital that comes out to be after the drawdown, then during your losing streak, you don't reduce your size, and during your winning streak, you keep on increasing your size. That's how I do it.
So this 98% that you have got, this is by compounding every month.
It's like compounding every day. The way I have told, I risk
Every
I
day.
risk one. Yeah, I risk 2% of drawdown accounted capital on that given day.
Wow, nice.
Achha, Anand bhai, regarding this drawdown, like I had checked from the Madan bhai also, Rajendra and the Kiru Bagran. So इसमें I had asked them कि अगर हम historical drawdown की figure के पास जाते हैं, आसपास पहुंचते हैं, तो what do we have to do about our position sizing thereafter? So बाकी लोग क्या कहते हैं कि अगर आपका 10% ड्रॉडाउन है सपोज हिस्टोरिकल, सो आप 50% उस पे पहुंचते हो, तो यू आफ्टर 50% से आफ्टर 5% आप पहुंचते हो, तो उसके बाद यू रिड्यूस योर पोजीशन साइज बाय 50%. बट इसमें दो फैक्टर और इंक्लूड करने चाहिए हमें कि एक तो आपका हिस्टोरिकल ड्रॉडाउन का फिगर कितना है. इफ इट इज बिलो 10 से 7%, 6%, एंड योर स्ट्रेटजी इज अ मिक्स ऑफ डायरेक्शनल एज वेल एज नॉन डायरेक्शनल, देन यू नीड नॉट टू you need not to disturb your position size. You can keep taking trades with the same quantity. Like that, which I discussed, it happened with me in November. I had not changed my position size, and I जितना जल्दी से मेरा ड्रॉडाउन गया था, उतना ही जल्दी से मेरा रिकवर भी हो गया. Had I reduced my position size by 50%, then it would have taken double the time in recovering those things. So two factors of the figure of drawdown and the kind of strategy you are doing, they play important role in that. Thank you.
Actually, when we talk about back test with a 10% drawdown, then actually we are accounting for money management along with the strategy back test. The thing is, अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि 10% आपका बैक टेस्टेड ड्रॉ डाउन है, दैट मीन्स आपने मनी मैनेजमेंट उसमें ऑलरेडी बिल्ड कर दिया, राइट? क्योंकि कैपिटल पे परसेंटेज वाइज ड्रॉ डाउन इज डिसाइडेड बाय हाउ मच रिस्क यू आर टेकिंग, एंड इट हैज नथिंग टू डू विद द स्ट्रेटजी. फॉर द सेम एंट्री एग्जिट, you change your risk parameter, your percentage drawdown actually will change, right?
So I'm talking about the setup wherein you have a time-based strategy and the fixed number of trades daily.
So basically बात ये है कि if you, let's say there is a 10% drawdown, if you are saying, my only point is that in your back test money management is already built in.
Exactly.
What I'm talking about is a plain vanilla back test, right? And then changing the risk dynamically. So let's say point is that the same strategy what you are saying, I can trade that with 5% drawdown by changing the risk parameter, right? Obviously, if I want to increase the risk parameter, then comes a margin restriction which will also play a role. Because let's say rather than 10%, somebody will say, hey, I'm okay with 40% drawdown and I want to trade more lots. No, but SEBI will not allow you now to do that for a selling system. But on the contrary, on the other side, obviously you can trade the same system with 5% drawdown or 3% drawdown. You just need to take less risk per trade. That's all. So when I said that I reduce my risk factor, is basically what I am saying is the strategy and the risk management are completely decoupled from each other, and that's how I do for my trend following thing. Yeah.
Sir, I haven't got my answer.
Hello, Anand sir.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
you are
मैं
audible.
बोल रहा हूँ सुना ही नहीं दिया निखिल सर को, and I have requested again Nikhil sir to come and listen to your question. Can you please repeat it,
Okay, sir.
Harsh?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What I was saying that I was running with 5% profit this month, but last 3 to 4 days just took away all my profits. Sir, and sir, I have told you my strategy, and I'm repeating it again. What I'm doing is I'm doing nifty straddles on intraday basis, and what I do, I divide the overall premium by 2.5 or 1.5 depending on the day to expiry.
Can I ask just one question here? Sorry to disturb. Have you backtested this strategy, or have you got it from somewhere and directly started trading it?
No, sir. Actually, I was doing it since last 3 to 4 months.
But have you tested
No,
it
sir.
to
Actually,
know your parameters?
yeah, sir. I have tested it manually. Sir, I'm not that tech
How do you
savvy.
test a strategy manually? That to this kind of an intraday strategy.
What, sir? Can you please repeat again your question?
How will you manually backtest a strategy which is intraday and which is like
Yeah.
based on option premium?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Like, sir, I am just doing it forward testing.
So basically, that's what my question was like. Did you get this idea from somewhere? Did you test it, or you directly started applying it? Because when we are shaky during our drawdown, just 3 days of negative days,
yes, sir,
that shows that we have not tested it long enough to get confidence on it. That was the reason for me to ask.
Sir, actually, that was my execution errors. This is why I'm facing this much drawdown. But actually, I just want, sir, most of the time, like last 4 to 4.5 months, what I am seeing, I'm doing with little 1 or 2 loads only. I started with 1 load, and now I'm doing with 2 loads. And what I'm seeing is I am in good profits. I'm running in good profits, like 15, like in 15 days, and I will lose all the money in 3 to 4 days. Sir, sir, this is what my question. Sir, my question is like,
Baba, yeah, I've tried like 4 times. Your question is not clear. What exactly is the question?
Sir,
Forget about
sir,
the context of the story. What is the exact question?
Sir, actually, my question is, sir, can we specify some days like where we should not trade in straddles?
Without getting to know the exact strategy and also back testing it, it's impossible to make a comment. And if anybody makes that comment, it will be like a summary comment and most likely not correct. So I would request. I'm also a huge fan of Nikhil sir. I would
Yes.
request you to take that question with Nikhil sir separately, one
Sir,
to one.
actually, what sir,
नहीं, इसीलिए मैंने पूछा था आनंद कि वो टेस्ट किया है क्या उन्होंने कुछ भी टू नो इज
नहीं किया है ना, टेस्ट नहीं किया है, फॉरवर्ड टेस्ट किया है 3-4 months, that's what he's saying. And it's very difficult to comment कि कौन से दिन ट्रेड करो नहीं करो, कौन सी कंडीशन में ट्रेड करो नहीं करो, right? You getting what the challenge is to answer this question, right? Anyways, moving on to the next question. Yeah, Algo, please. Algo, pursue it or whatever. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Anand, sir, I'm talking to you first time, and I'm one of your few first followers. This is Abhijit from Pune.
Abhijit, this is very sad, yaar. You were following me for so long, and you don't like my tweets. You don't retweet my tweets. Like, I'm heartbroken, yaar. If you would have said that you started following me today, I would have been very happy. But if you're following me for long, and I always check my notifications, I've never ever seen your likes to my tweet. I mean, are they so bad?
I've changed my name, but I did follow, retweet, do everything during the start.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks Amod and Anand sir for doing this call. I also do similar to what Amod does, and I do get good results as Amod is getting. My question is, so we are set and we have our summary and conclusion for option selling, diversified between Nifty, Bank Nifty, between different time, between different stop losses. I think I want to get your attention towards what Amod said regarding option buying. What he said was after the leverage went down, he started with an option buying system. He has talked about wait and trade kind of option buying system, which has helped him keep his returns similar to leverage. So I just wanted to get Amod's attention and his thoughts on how he thought about the option buying system. How, because option buying and option selling needs different psychology, different drawdowns, different return expectations, and how he settled down with the option buying system as well.
Well, yeah, as you already told, option buying system, the equity curve would be much more volatile, right? So you got to expect that and trade. I mean, psychologically, it's about expecting the reality before entering the trade. So it's as good as that. Ultimately, if you got to make profit, sell price has to be higher than buy price. As simple as that. And it's a mechanical system. The only difference between option buying and option selling is that the return on capital on option buying is return on capital deployed is much higher than option selling, right? And you also hit, so in an option selling system, if the peak drawdown is like, let's say 10%, then you don't exceed 5% a lot of times. Whereas in option buying, you could exceed 5% a lot of times. If the peak drawdown is 10%, it would be much more bumpy ride than an option selling system. So my
Did you backtest your option buying system also on stock mark?
Yes, I did backtest my option buying system on stock mark, and then again it's a one lot backtest, right? And my position sizing principle is like I risk equal rupees on all trades all days. So I download
So
CS.
do you want to give any pointers about option buying, like any kind of do's and don'ts, especially while backtesting on stock market?
There is nothing different compared to option selling, because there again it's the same data that is used, right? So all these outlier picks and all those things still hold the same, just that it would be on, I mean, see, if you could have placed a stop loss limit by entry order at 100 rupees and the price can go only up to 99, but on stock market the trade never triggered, but in real trading the trade got triggered and it could hit your stop loss. So all those things exist in option buying as well, because the data used is the same as far as stock market backtesting is concerned, and it's part of the game. Again, you subtract 0.2 out of the expectancy, and that's what you expect in reality.
Okay. I'll go pursue it. You have any other questions?
Hi, Anand. Thanks for allowing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my question was, I was just thinking to ask the same thing the previous guy has asked, that he has used wait and trade feature in stock market, because I was going through the timeline of Amod. So fine, that is fine. The another concern I have is, I have seen all you guys, I mean Amod has used some templates to track his trade logs. Is it kind of is it an Excel utility which is available for us? Because I have seen this kind of where they are showing the graphs and all, which is very informative, and it actually helps us to look at our trades in a graphical mode. So if I can, if somebody can help us to get it, if it is possible, this is I am looking for it quite some time. So this was my question.
Well, I don't think a ready-made utility is available. I spend 30 minutes per day, each and every day after market hours, to document my trades, and that's how it shows up at the end. At the end, it shows up like it's a, it's an easy thing, but you got to put in the effort. And most of the things that I've done, I've just Googled on how to draw the graph, or you could also draw a candlestick graph in Excel. You just have to use the stock chart option.
It's an Excel utility, right, Amod?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Excel, yes.
Okay.
MS Excel.
Yeah, I'll try to figure it out. Thanks a lot.
ट्रेडर बोलिए, ट्रेडर.
Hello, Anand sir.
हाँ बोलिए ना.
Hello, Anand sir. My question is to Amod sir, and hope both are doing good. I'm Gauri Shankar from Chennai. I'm doing the same kind of setup, Straddle setup, sir. I have 5 strategies on normal days. In expiry days, I used to do with 7 strategies. Amod sir, how are you managing the wild spikes, especially on Thursdays, sir? Because I still remember it was on October or November, I don't know exact date. That day, actually, all of our put options got hit. Then suddenly after 1 o'clock or 1:30, the call option started to shoot up. I think the market went above 40,000 that day. Few of my legs were trading around 10 rupees to 12 rupees. Then it got hit all of my stop losses around 200 rupees. So how you are managing those kind of moves, and where you book your profits on expiry days? Will you wait for zero, the remaining legs to expire at 1 rupees or 2 rupees, or you will book at 10 or 15 rupees like that?
So on the stop loss thing, are you talking about those freak trades where you place a stop loss at, let's say, 20 rupees and it hits at 200 rupees? Are those the type you are referring to, or the normal spikes?
Normal strikes, sir. Normal straddle strikes.
Normal straddle spikes, I take it on the chin because it's part of the game. I signed up for that. And
Okay. So you will wait for the option to expire worthless.
No. I have not yet answered that question. I answered the stop loss thing.
Okay, sir.
So regarding expiry days option expiring worthless, I don't wait until it expires worthless, because I look at what is the incremental reward to incremental risk after a certain point. And in option selling, the incremental reward is always limited because it can only go until zero, right?
Yes.
So once I feel the incremental reward to incremental risk is not worth it, I exit.
Okay, sir. Last 2 months, what I'm doing is, usually for Thursdays, I'm taking extra lot sizes. So for that, I have to take hedges. So after 1 o'clock or 1:30, I'm reducing my. I'm not reducing. Actually, I'm rolling down my hedges closer to the actual straddles and stangles. So will you suggest to others to do this? Because that will act as a protection also.
Well, to be honest, I'm not an expert on options, and I don't know much about rolling down, rolling up, and all. I'm a simple dumb 920 straddle trader who likes to.
No, sir. I'm not talking about our usual entries.
Yeah. True.
I'm talking about the hedges. See, for Thursdays, we are going to do multiple lots. Even you said Thursdays you do extra quantities compared to other days. So for that, we need to take some hedges, right?
Yeah, you can take, but I don't take. So since I
Okay.
take, I'm not experienced enough to answer that, I think.
Okay, sir. Actually, I have less capital, so I have to take hedges to do the extra lots, especially on Thursdays. So last week, what I have done this Thursday, I have purchased 37,500 put option. Actually, morning I bought 37,200. Then afternoon, after 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, I have rolled up to 37,500 put. Actually, I have bought it for 5 rupees. Then from 5 rupees, I have booked it for 42 rupees. So with my hedge, I got some little profits. So that's what I'm asking you. Would you suggest? Okay, sir. Anand sir, how about, what is your opinion on this?
I have also never ever tried any kind of hedges in any of the discretionary or system based trades. Even in the backtest, I have done actually backtest with a hedge and it had a very poor result. So I don't know, and I don't use full capital ever. So taking hedge and then for better capital utilization, I have not done it. So I will not be able to answer it. If anybody from the audience wants to answer it, because this is one question which keeps on coming on Twitter as well, and otherwise as well, that whether to take a very far OTM hedge to increase the capital effectiveness. I think Nikhil sir does that, if I'm not wrong, and I can't see him anymore now. So but I'm not capable to answer that. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next
Thank
question.
you.
Hello, sir. Hello. Yeah, myself Ritesh. I have a just quick question. I have back tested 920 straddle, and just I am in confusion. Example, I have a capital of 10 lakh, so I would take 920 and a straddle with 9 lots with some specified percentage with which I have done the back testing for 3 years or something like this, and or should I go ahead with like this? I should divide straddle in 3 parts: 3 lots, 3 lots, 3 lots. When first SL is hit, I enter the second straddle, or when the second SL is hit, I enter with the third straddle. So should I go with 1 straddle only a day, or should I go with 3 straddle a day?
Amol.
So it depends on a lot of things at your end, right? So once after one stop loss getting hit, you entering, are you an algo trader or are you a manual trader? If you're a
Manual
manual
trader.
trader, so you would need to be in front of the screen. Is it even executable at all times, right? So
Yeah,
that's the
it's
first.
executable. Yeah, but my
Right.
confusion arises. Example, the day real straddle 9 lot straddle will be profitable, then my first straddle will be profitable, but my lot will be less. But the day when I'll be having MTM, like maximum loss, I'll be losing with 9 lots. So that's confusing me.
Yeah, for that confusion, the best answer can be given by a backtest.
The problem is with when SL is hitting and second straddle is coming and second SL it is in third straddle is coming. Backtesting with that is a difficult task because I go
Yeah,
to the stock.
I'll chip in here. Ritesh, do one thing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
इको हो रहा है दोनों लोग म्यूट कर लो do one thing you in your back test you can do back test like you start one straddle at 9:20 another you start at 9:45 third one you start at 10:20 that you can back test clearly on stock market you doing that let's say with a 25% stop loss or on each. Okay. Then second, you can combine the back test that if you have a 10 lakh capital, I believe you can throw in both Nifty and Bank Nifty. So 2 lots Nifty, 2 lots Bank Nifty, or 3 lots Nifty, 3 lots Bank Nifty at different times. Right. You have to try different times, 9:20, 9:25, and so on. More you are spread out during the first half of the day, you'll have more normalized equity curve that I have seen in the back test. I myself have done it. Okay. The second strategy second thing which you can try on stock market is that first stop loss, let's say you keep at 20%, the second one you keep at 40%, the third one you keep at 60%. So that, the small fluctuations, the one stop loss will go away, but not the second and third one. For large fluctuation, unless the market makes a very, very big W, all your stop losses will not be hit. So these kind of variations, all these kinds of variations, you first check on stock mark or any other platform where you can back test. Then once you have the back test ka result in your hand, analyze that result in terms of all parameters and then see yourself whether you are comfortable with those kind of drawdowns, whether you are comfortable with those kind of capital utilization and so on. And then you take a decision.
But my problem is like my first entries depend on time, but second entry is completely depend
अरे
on
बाबा
this.
जब वो बैक टेस्ट ही नहीं हो पा रहा है तो फिर उसको करो ही नहीं ना वो डोंट गेट मैरिड टू दैट स्ट्रेटजी व्हिच यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यू आर नॉट एबल टू बैक टेस्ट इट राइट so check that strategy if you want to deploy 3 straddles I have given you 2 ways one is different time intervals second is different stop loss levels that you can clearly back test so once you back test then only you deploy
ओके मैं इस तरीके से कर सकता हूँ क्या फर्स्ट एसएल एग्जांपल मेरा 25% है सो सेकंड एसएल शुड आई रिड्यूस लाइक 20% 15% और शुड आई इंक्रीज
all combinations you'll have to back test and see the data at the granular level okay
I'll try that one. Okay,
thank you next question we'll take last 2 questions
हेलो सर मेरा एक जेनरिक क्वेश्चन है सर जैसे हम ओटीएम ऑप्शन को सेल करते हैं तो सर उसमें ऐसे लेवल्स का मेंशन करके कि अगर इस लेवल पे आता है तो हम इस ऑप्शन को मतलब एग्जिट कर देंगे तो जनरली क्या होता है कि इनिशियल में से अगर फ्राइडे को हम ऑप्शन सेल कर देते हैं और फ्राइडे कोई मार्केट आपकी रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में आता है तो हमें उस लेवल का वेट करना चाहिए अगर प्रीमियम क्योंकि अगर फर्स्ट डे नहीं आपने लिया और फर्स्ट डे नहीं मार्केट रिवर्स कर गया तो प्रीमियम बहुत जल्दी शूट कर जाता है तो जो स्टॉप लॉस है वो प्रीमियम का मतलब उसको कैसे करना चाहिए डबल स्टार्टिंग के 2 दिन डबल रखना चाहिए या कैसे मतलब आप थोड़ा सा उसका गाइड कीजिए
आमोद यू वांट टू टेक इट क्वेश्चन मुझे समझ में नहीं आया
सर एक्चुअली ये है कि अगर हम फ्राइडे को अगर हम ओटीएम ऑप्शन सेल करते हैं 300-400 पॉइंट निफ्टी में और अगर उसी दिन मार्केट रिवर्स करता है तो वो प्रीमियम हमें जो स्टॉप लॉस है उस ऑप्शन को एग्जिट करना है तो उसको प्रीमियम के डबल पे हम उसको एग्जिट कर दें या जो लेवल जैसे हमने कंसीडर कर रखा है कि इस लेवल से अगर नीचे आता है तो ये मार्केट बियरिश हो जाएगा या बुलिश हो जाएगा उस लेवल का वेट करें क्योंकि अगर हम फ्राइडे को उस लेवल का वेट करते हैं तो ऑप्शन का प्रीमियम 2-3 टाइम्स हो जाता है अगर वही ऑप्शन अगर वही डायरेक्शन अगर रिवर्स होती है
बट don't wait more than 100% because then the risk reward itself will be so poor it will be very difficult to make money in the long run so once you have
अच्छा सर फार ओटीएम का एसएल कैसे लगाएंगे अगर हम ये ओटीएम्स को सेल करते हैं कॉल्स को और पुट को सर
सॉरी यार नहीं बस समझ में आया क्वेश्चन
सर ये अगर हम ओटीएम ऑप्शन को करते हैं 200 पॉइंट को, तो उसका एसएल कैसे रखेंगे सर आप?
डबल से ज्यादा मत रखो। 100 रुपए का प्रीमियम है तो 200 से ज्यादा मत रखो। दैट इज लाइक बेसिक पे ऑफ मैट्रिक्स में तुम्हारा जो मतलब अनलेस इट्स अ वेरी वेरी हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी स्ट्रेटजी, वो तो उसका नेगेटिव ही आएगा रिटर्न इन द लॉन्ग रन ओवर लार्ज नंबर ऑफ ट्रेड्स। तो 100 रुपए है तो उससे 200 से तो कम ही रखो। दैट्स द समरी आंसर। अभी तुम सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस का बात कर रहे हो, बेरिश का बात कर रहे हो, इट्स लाइक यू आर गेटिंग इन द realm ऑफ डिस्क्रिशनरी ट्रेडिंग। देन तो 1000 वेरिएबल देखने पड़ेंगे राइट ऑन दैट गिवन डे।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
हाय सर, हाय आनंद सर। सो आपने काफी अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया द सिनेरियोस वेयर थिंग्स कैन गो रियली बैड इन केस ऑफ ऑप्शन सेलिंग, अगर मार्केट बंद हो गया 2 दिन के लिए या महीने भर के लिए। तो shouldn't we should not do any selling without hedging? Amod, you're also not using hedging, so isn't there a risk which is totally like out of control, can be out of control?
Yes, there is risk that is out of control, and I signed up for that.
Yeah,
it's about knowing the risk, right?
Okay, and one more thing I wanted to ask. I can see lots of people only doing option selling, like really less trend followers, like logical, or only 1 or 2, and Angad sir. So is option buying means trend following for short time frame profitable, or it's really really tough?
It's profitable if you figure out a strategy, and it's tough if you did not. I mean, that's the honest answer. But we've seen like logical trader who has figured out and doing pretty well, right? So it is possible. It's not impossible.
But the ratio,
because, the ratio definitely, the success ratio definitely, option selling side, it is much more. When I joined Twitter and looked at what the big short traders are doing so that I can replicate them, I was still not a profitable trader. I was a lossy trader when I joined Twitter March 2020. So when I looked at, most of them were doing option selling, and I think that's because you have the theta decay advantage. Of course, you need a strategy with a statistical edge. That's the ultimate thing. But theta decay supports you in option selling, and in option buying, it's against you. So it's always a uphill journey when you do option buying, and obviously it reflects in the success ratio.
Yeah, and even Mitesh sir, like he has been in the market for 10 plus years, and when he says he has made 90% of his profit from option selling, then it's tough to go in trend following direction on the shorter term. It looks like even means at the end everyone has to go to option selling route, which I don't know, which makes at least I get uncomfortable with the.
I have huge respect for Mitesh sir, and I have learned a lot in last 3 years from him. He is the best trader on Twitter. That's like without any doubt. Okay. Having said that, I don't really like to talk about people who are not present and as speakers on my spaces. Okay, it can be misconstrued in many ways.
No, so let's not respect him
listen.
A lot. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
So having said that, so let's not take any names, especially about people who are not present here. And I have personally witnessed, and I have seen more than 2-3 cases of people who are pure option buyers, people who are pure intraday trend followers, and they are definitely making very good money in terms of percentage of the total capital at risk. So definitely it is a discoverable system where you can discover something intraday, 5-minute time frame, 15-year time frame. I'm telling you from my own personal experience. And so it is worth discovering. And I don't believe that one can make money in option selling only or in option buying only. A good trader has to do both. That is my understanding.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Next question. Last question let's take, guys, then we'll wind it up here. अच्छा question हो तो मजा आ जाएगा. Amod, I have one question before anybody asks. Like now that leverage is also gone, and option selling, the mozo is little less. So what is your long-term plan? Like next 3 years, 5 years, your algo will keep running and keep making profit, or are you going to discover new strategies? And if yes, then in what direction primarily you are looking? Are you looking into stocks as well? Are you looking into positional as well? Are you looking into option buying in a big way as well?
Yeah, so I definitely don't want to go positional simply because it takes months for the system's edge to play out. And I'm in the market for more regular income than what positional trading can offer me. And my plan is that I head into option buying. I have an option buying system that I started trading in September, and it's working fairly well, although it's a bumpy ride. And so the advantage with option buying system is, as I already told, the capital deployed can be much lesser compared to option selling to realize the same percentage profit. So the way I allocate capital as on today is that I allocate 10% of my capital for option buying system, risking 2% per day kind of, and I allocate 90% of my capital for option selling system. So that way, with intraday leverage being removed, my option selling system is expected to give much lesser return than the 6% per month on an average it was giving earlier, and I expect it to be made up by the option buying system, assuming it would be profitable. Yeah. So I'm focusing more on the option buying side, and so right now I have only two systems: option selling one and option buying one, and I'm that type who wouldn't add another system unless it has a real good expectancy and max drawdown, return to max drawdown, and it needs to fit well into my already existing small portfolio of systems. So yeah, so whatever, if it fits well with my total return on capital deployment thing, then yeah, I'll go for it. Not sure if Anand is still there.
Yeah, I'm there. Well, we'll take one last question and then we'll do a thank you to Amod. So last question, let's make it very interesting, guys. Any question from the audience?
Okay, in case there is no further questions, so like Anand bhai, I wanted to say this first thing.
Okay, Sudeep has a question. It's like, yeah, Sudeep,
sure.
Go ahead.
No, so अमर सर ने एक बताया पहले कि incremental risk and incremental reward देखेंगे till the time, I mean, when we will be in the trade. So how to identify incremental risk and incremental reward?
Okay, so let's say this is expiry day and you sold a straddle like 100 on each leg, right? And let's say you put a 20% stop loss on call and it hits the stop loss, you're out of call and your put is running in profit, right? So, and your put stop loss is also like what, at 120, right? If it's a 20% stop loss. Now, let's say it was a downtrending day and let's say it's like 1 p.m. or something like that, 2 p.m. and your put option premium has gone down from 100 to, let us say, 5. Now, what is your incremental reward? Your incremental reward is 5 rupees. It can go to 0, not even 5. And what is your incremental risk? Your incremental risk is 115 rupees, right? It's clearly not favorable. Now, where do you draw the line? That's kind of discretionary. That's what I would say. So although I'm an algo trader and I consider myself a systematic trader, I sometimes don't follow all the rules. My purpose of being in the market is to make money, and the purpose is not to be a systematic trader or algo trader. I'm a systematic trader because I'm a bad discretionary trader. I'm not good at it. So on corner cases like this, where incremental, I feel incremental reward to incremental risk is not favorable, I exit. So by the way, so this could be backtested on stock market, where like on expiry days you put a target of 90% or 80%, whatever. I haven't really done this, yeah, but still I exit when it's not favorable.
Yeah. So with that, we'll wind up, and I have like more than 30-40 requests of people wanting to ask questions to you. We'll not be able to take most of the questions because it keeps crashing, and it is like a lot of people have written to me that it is fairly irritating, and 300 people have quit. I'm sure Amod will take a lot of questions in his DM, and I really want to thank him for giving courage to all of us that simple systems can also work. It is working for him for last 18 months. And thank you so much for your time, Amod. And you have any last words? Please go on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say this first up in this discussion, but anyways, I missed it. Let me say it now, right? So I feel you are one of the most humble persons here on Indian FinTwit. no negativity, using Twitter only for constructive purposes to link up with people. No, I really admire you for that. So I just wanted to say that. And thanks for having this Twitter space discussion.
And thank you to Vikas for being my loyal co-host, for staying till the end. And thank you everyone who stayed till the end and who listened to my spaces. It means a lot to me. It gives me a lot of encouragement. We will have 2 more spaces tomorrow, so just tune in and don't go away.
Yeah, thanks all for